three, every walk-off will be heard here.
Fly ball, center field, deep and gone.
Sunday Night Baseball on 99.9 The Fan is presented by Newcomb & Company, Mountain Dew, and by Buffalo Brothers.
Monster Jam, massive stunts, all-out racing, crazy skills. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your $20 pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to PNC Arena this weekend.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm at a smoothie bar, asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, follow Crash Davis and his Durham Bulls story in a new genre. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
Tim Donnelly here from my friends at Zero Res. And if you're like me, you love to DIY, right? Do it yourself, save the money. I can tell you from experience, they Zero Resified my house, and you can't get it this clean by yourself with the carpet soaking machines or anything else you can rent. Go ahead, give them a call now, 919-995-0000, and ask for the station special. That's the 99.9 The Fan special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $109 and get a free hallway done on top of that.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day Wednesday, we're warm, mostly dry. Highs low 90s this afternoon. Then a WRAL weather alert day is in effect due to the potential for localized flooding and even some wind damage and a couple storms out there. That would mainly happen this evening. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones currently down 401 points at 39,956.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, joined by Dennis Cox here in Charlotte for the ACC Football Kickoff. ACC Football Kickoff coverage on 99.9 The Fan is driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC in Sanford. The ACC Football Kickoff actually started on Monday.
It did.
We got here and started our coverage yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Today feels like the official end of the football offseason. We have the Panthers practicing legitimately not just reporting, not just doing a conditioning test. Just a couple miles away from here. They are practicing
down
today.
The street, literally.
They practice today, I guess I should say. And then today we have a couple of North Carolina teams that are going to be making their way around. Duke and Wake Forest. We'll hear from both here on ACC Kickoff coverage on 99.9 The Fan. It definitely feels like the end of the football offseason is today. Now, obviously, we go into the training camp. That's what's up next. There's going to be practices. For the most part, if you're a fan, you're just fingers crossed, no injuries. And then you get to the preseason for the NFL, and you get to games in college.
Sometimes no news is good news at this time of year when it comes to football. It's like, hey, there's no one holding out, no one got hurt. That's fine. And that's it. That's all you need.
That's literally what coaches are hoping for, good practices because they're there. But owners and GMs are just hoping that they don't get calls with, hey, can we talk?
Yep, pretty much.
But another thing I've noticed, and this is from talking with a handful of the teams already here at ACC Kickoff, talking or listening to all the coverage from Panthers camp, which, by the way, you should follow Chris Lee, WRAL reporter who's there covering it.
We're going to do a Panthers playbook at training camp tomorrow, by the way.
Panthers playbook at training camp tomorrow with Dennis Cox and Chris Lee. What I'm seeing is the similarities, right? No matter the level of football, the talking points, the conversations, the questions that the media are asking are fairly similar. Is your quarterback, that's the word I was trying to say, is your quarterback good enough to win, and is everyone else bought into what the team wants? And coaches here, right? We're going to talk with Manny Diaz. We're going to talk with Dave Clawson, Duke and Wake Forest head football coach. Dave Canales, obviously, with the Panthers. Their job is to convince everyone that their quarterback is good enough to win and that everybody else is bought into what the team wants. And if those two things happen, you'll have success. And it's unreal how, obviously, here at the ACC level, NFL level, you go down to the Pop Warner level, they're kind of universal truths of the preseason. Is, do you have the right guy under center? Is he in a good frame of mind to perform? And is everybody else bought in, right? And what that buy-in means is roles, right, where there's a hierarchy set or will be decided in training camp. So you know, hey, this is our bell cow back. This is our change of pace back. This is our number one wide receiver. This is our slot wide receiver. Here's our swing tackle who's going to step in if either right or left tackle get hurt. Like that, like just getting all of that buy-in and selling out and doing the little things. That's all that this preseason is about. That's all what any preseason is about. So, you know, there are years where you go in and that first question, is your quarterback good enough to win? That's answered more easily than others, right? When in 2015, are you laughing at something that you should bring up?
Maybe. 25. Go on. Go on.
I don't know what's happening here. Dennis just got a real mischievous look on his face. In 2015, Carolina, is your quarterback good enough to win?
You knew that already.
The answer is there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even though sometimes that conversation happens about quarterbacks well beyond it should. You know, you're seeing it now in the NFL with like the Dak Prescotts and the Justin Herberts, where it's like, yes, they're good enough to win. You shouldn't have to convince anybody.
We know that.
But for the Panthers right now, Bryce Young,
massive question mark.
This preseason is all about Bryce Young, and a lot of the teams we're talking to. We're going to talk with Manny Diaz, the head coach of Duke. They brought two quarterbacks to ACC Kickoff.
Dave Clawson didn't even bring a quarterback.
Dave Clawson didn't bring a quarterback, and we asked him why, and you'll hear that conversation later. Like those teams, their preseason is a lot about convincing the rest of the team, convincing the coaching staff, and then secondarily setting the outside expectation that whoever is taking snaps at quarterback is good enough to win. Because we've all seen it, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world to be a fan of one of these teams where you feel like you have everything but the quarterback, so you go like 500, right? That position is so important. Where you're like
Pittsburgh Steelers last 2 years.
there you go, from a Steelers fan. It's so frustrating. So you know, that's kind of, you know, 50% offense, 50% defense, 50% quarterback is kind of how I look at like the way these teams. I know that it's a Yogi Berra-ism, right? 90% of it's physical, the other half's mental. It's one of the things we talked about it yesterday that this ACC season is about is figuring out which quarterbacks in the league are going to be good enough for their team to achieve lofty goals.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the Panthers kind of similarly, as we play out both of these preseason kind of conversations in the same city here in Charlotte, a lot of it comes down to, great, you got better wide receivers. Is Bryce Young good enough to get it to him?
Good enough, but also that second part, because we talk about the guys around him. Are they a good fit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the talk about figuring out, is everyone buying in? Fit is part of it, because you might have someone that is super talented in one certain area, but it just doesn't fit what your team does. I think that's also part of this offseason as well, or at least this season as a whole for Carolina, is that figuring out, okay, is Bryce good enough? But let's put talent around him to also help figure it out as well. And let's figure out who those core guys are that we can build with our quarterback. If we figure out, all right, Bryce is good enough, who are the core guys that go around it?
And again, we keep bouncing, ping-ponging back and forth between ACC and the Panthers. But to me, that's the question even about the good quarterbacks in the ACC.
Oh, for sure.
Cam Ward, Miami's quarterback, the Miami Hurricanes quarterback, was making his way around here earlier. Grayson McCall with NC State. We know they're good quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah. They've proven.
They've performed at the college level to a high level. But the question is, do they fit what their new teams want to do, right? Grayson McCall is a good quarterback. We saw it at Coastal. Does he have the skill set to unlock the best versions of Casey Concepcion, the best versions of Noah Rogers, right? Because, sometimes it's to use the weirdest analogy I possibly can, it's mongoose and rats.
Okay.
This is a stupid little thing I know about the history of Hawaii. Hawaii had a rat problem. This is like centuries ago.
All right.
So they brought in mongoose to eat the rat. But what nobody knew at the time was that mongoose were dayturnal and rats were nocturnal.
Oh, okay.
So the two species were literally never awake at the same time. So now they just have a rat and a mongoose problem in Hawaii.
That's funny.
But it's just like sometimes, you bring in a quarterback that throws a great deep ball, but all the wide receivers are short game run after the catch guys.
Yeah, underneath
and
possession
it's
guys.
just like you guys are never awake at the same time,
Yep.
right? Your plays don't work. So you have to wait and see which of these new quarterbacks fit best with their new teams.
And I think this also puts the onus on the coaching too. Like if you're Robert and I, the offensive coordinator at NC State, or any of these offensive coaches, it's on Dabo or even Mike Norvell down with DJ Uiagalelei at Florida State, is that it's also on the coaching too. Like the coaches have to recognize, like, okay, this person does this really well, or he's capable of doing these things. Let's see if we can find the right balance of, like, all right, you may do this really well, but we need you to do this because you're capable of doing it. Yeah, you might be a great deep ball guy, but we also need you to run intermediate routes because that's what our quarterback excels at. Like, and this is going to be the best for the team as a whole. And that's also part of that buy-in that you mentioned.
Yeah, and obviously I was oversimplifying it
by
acting like a good deep ball thrower can't complete the 5-yard out.
You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked. There are guys that can launch it downfield, but they can't throw a 5-yard out route to save their lives.
And that ends up being a problem depending on the play caller.
Exactly.
Unless they are running like an old school, Kubiak offense where it's like, no, we want you play action and deep ball.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's a Matt Schaub and Houston Texans.
Little Flacco had that for a while.
Yep.
But to boil everything down, right? Panthers, many of the teams we're going to talk to at the ACC kickoff, many of the teams we've already talked to, you can make it as complicated as you want. But if you can answer these two questions, is your quarterback good enough to win? And is everyone else bought in to do what the team wants to do? If you get a yes on both of those, I'm fairly confident you'll be happy with the way your season goes.
You're ahead of 80% of the field.
Yep. Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, before we jump into all of the interviews, and we have plenty of them for you, players, coaches from all across the ACC, we have to get to our question of the day and our 99 questions about the college football season. This one has to do with teams playing in the championship game. Stick around.
The college football season is here, and 99.9 The Fan will be live from Charlotte for ACC Football Kickoff.
Touchdown, Carolina!
Adam, Tim, and the crew will huddle up with your favorite players and coaches from Carolina, Duke, and State.
Concepcion, he's got it. Touchdown, Wolfpack.
Join us for ACC Football Kickoff live from Charlotte on 99.9 The Fan.
Duke thumps the Tigers.
Driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Sanford. Visit WilkinsonCars.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at renofi.com/notices. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP, opt out.
John, I'm putting my foot down. We can't put off renovating this house any longer. Our kitchen is so small. We need to finish the basement for the kids, and don't even get me started on the bathrooms.
Honey, renovating is so expensive. We can't do all those projects.
With Renify, we can.
What's Renify?
Renify loans are a new type of home equity loan only for homeowners doing renovations. We can get up to $500,000 and keep our existing low mortgage rate locked in.
With Renify, we can do everything on our renovation list and we don't have to refinance?
That's right. Renify loans are the only home equity loan that use the after renovation value.
Just what we need. How do we get started with Renify?
Just send them a text.
Text TRANSFORM to 323232 and see if you qualify for up to $500,000 to renovate your home with Renify. Unlock the future value of your home right now to get the money you need without refinancing. Text the word TRANSFORM to 323232 to get started today. Text TRANSFORM to 323232.
NMLS number 1802847. Not all borrowers or properties qualify. Loan terms apply.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Burger King's kicking up the flavor. Things are heating up at Burger King. Introducing the all-new Fiery Menu. 5 of your favorite items now at 5 levels of heat. From mild with fiery strawberry and Sprite to wild with the fiery bacon Royal Crispy Chicken. Now that's major. You roll your season today at BK. Have it your way. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Spicy strawberry puree with Sprite.
This is Pretection. Yep, Pretection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist-recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, live from Charlotte, where the ACC Football Kickoff is going on. And by the way, we'll have Dave Clawson, head coach of Wake Forest, coming up here in about 10 minutes. You'll hear that conversation. Actually, maybe 15. But Coach Clawson talks about the quarterback competition and why he didn't bring a quarterback to ACC Football Kickoff, despite the ACC actually asking them or encouraging them to bring quarterbacks to ACC Football Kickoff, which my wheels are already cranking on what that means behind the scenes. So Dave Clawson, Wake Forest, coming up in not too distant future is what I'm getting at. Right now, though, it's time for the 99 questions about the college football season series. We ask one question every day until we have kickoff on the first college football game. Today's question, because we're at ACC Football Kickoff, who's going to be in the ACC championship game? And a little different than it's been in the past for those of you that don't keep up on rules as much as we do. No divisions this year.
Yeah, no Atlantic, no Coastal.
So it is just the two teams with the best ACC record will be in the ACC championship. Doesn't matter if they played before. Doesn't matter who they lost to, or if it's just the two best teams get to play in the ACC championship.
Which way it should be.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think it was fair that a 5-3 ACC team got to play in a championship game when there was a team that was only one loss couldn't.
And how it always surprised me how often those situations popped up where it's like
coastal chaos for a reason.
Yep. So anyway, let's jump into let's talk this out. Who are the two teams that are going to be in the ACC championship game this year? I'll list some nominees here.
Okay.
I think Louisville is a team that many expect to make some waves, building off of what they did a season ago and kind of making a name for themselves as Transfer U. They're not afraid to go into the transfer portal.
No Jack Plummer at quarterback.
He's
down the street.
Oh, that's actually true.
He's down the street in training camp with the Carolina Panthers.
But I think a lot of people are very confident what Coach Braum is building there. He is a Louisville guy, and he is there to lay a foundation down to last a while. I think Florida State and Clemson, you're always going to have them as kind of nominees for this deal. They recruit at a level that's near tops of the league every single year. NC State, based on what they've done this offseason, has to be in this conversation. A dark horse I'm throwing in, Virginia Tech.
Really?
I just love 22 returning starters.
Okay.
Continuity in this college football world is not something that many teams have.
And that was even before transfer portal, having 22 guys come back.
22 back was like notable in 01.
Yeah.
So it's definitely notable now. And Kyron Jones, their quarterback, he's one of those guys, speed and everything that can equalize a game.
Sure.
And then this isn't necessarily my nomination.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the people's nomination, just on the conversations I've had here at ACC Kickoff. The Miami hype is
oh God, I'm so sick of the Miami hype.
Cam Ward and everybody else with and then again, I feel like I have to keep doing this. Miami Hurricanes, Cam Ward, their quarterback, incoming transfer. They have some young studs that are high level recruits. There's a lot of talk about the amount of talent on the Miami Hurricanes roster around here.
I'm annoyed with the Miami conversation because it's always like, oh, is Miami going to be back? And all of a sudden, I'm like, no, you went like 7-5 last season, and you literally gave a game away to Georgia Tech last year. I'm sorry, not going to buy it until I actually see something.
I do think this is why it's good to actually attend events like this, because like there's no way you're bumping into somebody in the triangle that's going to give you like the, hey, Miami, chance to win it all. You're just not going to. So you talk to some new people around here. There are those in ACC country that think Miami should be at least a nominee for the conversation we're having. So we've fulfilled our obligation. They are a nominee for the conversation we're going to have. But I will say this, they will not be my choice. I don't know who Dennis's choices are, but based on that reaction, I assume
it's definitely not Miami. I didn't even consider them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you hear it enough, it's going to stick in my brain. Anybody else we're leaving out that should be nominated?
I think you're pretty spot on.
Okay.
Like overall, my top four are pretty within what you mentioned.
So now we just go ahead and name our two. Why don't you go first this time? I feel like I'm always going first.
I have a lot of major questions still about Clemson.
I agree.
Really do, but it's just you still have Kate Klubnik coming back, whom we'll talk to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The big question is like, how much has Dabo developed? Because now that everyone can go to the transfer portal and pluck guys that are like ready-made to play with your team right now, and Dabo's refused to do that, how well has he developed? And we saw last year, I know you talked about it, or I actually was Tom Luganbill from ESPN talked with Adam Gold about this earlier today, is that how even Clemson, when they played at Duke last year, like Duke looked more athletic than Clemson. Like that's not supposed to be the case. So I'm actually going to take them out of it. My two, like Louisville is kind of that dark horse, but again, Jack Plummer's gone and Jawar Jordan, their star running back from first team all ACC, is also gone.
Speed.
They're out. Like those are your two playmakers are gone. I know Florida State lost a bunch, but there's that chip on the shoulder mentality, which I think carries them through the whole year. So like, the chip on the shoulder mentality, give me Florida State. And the schedule sets up perfectly for NC State to get there. It really does. It sets up perfectly for NC State. You beat Clemson, you're coasting.
I'm going to agree with you, first of all. I have Florida State and NC State as well. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I'm going to piggyback off what you said about Clemson. I don't know if it's bold. I don't think they win an ACC championship for sure. Maybe get to until Dabo starts embracing the transfer portal.
Here's the thing about it. Down year last year, they still had 9-3 regular season or whatever it was, or 9-win year.
Yeah, saying they're not going to win an ACC championship is not saying they're not going to have success. They're not going to be a good team. It's exactly what you said, which is we're seeing teams where you try to develop guys you recruit out of high school and you want, but nobody is 100%.
No one.
And it used to be can you overcome the holes in your development by being awesome at other positions? Now there are teams that will have proven college performers at every position, simply because if they develop out of high school, 14 out of their 22 starters, and the 14 are really good and they missed on the other 8, they'll just go get the other 8 from where someone else hit. And it's tough because Clemson, it was pretty obvious there for the last 15 years. They were really good at developing their guys out of high school. And they would have fewer holes than everyone else, and their stars would be more starry. But now Florida State is not afraid to pay out of the transfer portal.
No, they're not.
Miami is not afraid to pay out of the transfer portal. NC State is not afraid to pay out of the transfer portal. Oh, look at this. We need an offensive lineman for NC State. Let's go get a 2-year starter from Notre Dame out of the transfer portal. That's a little bit easier than let's play this guy who we missed on out of high school and just give him a little bit of extra talking to. Let's really motivate him. It's or you can go get a stud. We need a pass catching tight end. Let's go get the guy that led the country in tight end forced missed tackles from UConn and bring him down to NC State. Until you're willing to do that, I think it's going to be really hard to compete with the teams that do. So I don't think it's a surprise that Florida State and NC State are up there for my choices to play for the ACC championship, because those are two teams that recognized the flaws they had and went out and tried to do everything they could to fix them in the transfer portal. And then I'll add this about Florida State before getting to NC State. Florida State replacing number 1 wide receiver, number 1 running back, number 1 quarterback. They win games with their defensive front.
Yeah.
And they once again will have the top edge rusher drafted out of the ACC. Once again, they'll have studs in the interior. I'm looking at Florida State to maybe win with defense early before that offense can catch up.
And I think some of those guys that actually got some of that playing time, like their depth and young guys that played against Georgia, was kind of like, all right, I know you got smacked, but it was still valuable.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, it's still valuable to have at least get that experience and just and go win it. Now here's something with Florida State. I don't think their schedule is kind of difficult in all honesty, because look at their first 4 games. They have 4 of the first 5 games are ACC. They got to go out to Dublin to play Georgia Tech, which is just a weird situation on all fronts. And Georgia Tech,
you're a bad corned beef cabbage away from having an off night.
Now they come back and they got exactly. Then you come back and you play Boston College. Then you have home against Memphis, which is not going to be a pushover, which is kind of a lot of people are talking about. Might be
Upset
that
City.
fifth at-large conference champion into the college football playoff. A lot of people are like, hey, don't sleep on them. Then you have Cal coming in, which a lot of people are pretty high on Cal.
Cal and SMU are the two second and third most hype. Miami, I think, is getting the most hype around here. SMU and Cal have a lot of people going, who you should pretty good.
And then after Cal, you go on the road to SMU. Florida State's schedule is pretty unforgiving. And then right after that, you have Clemson. So it's a pretty unforgiving schedule for Florida State to start the year. They're going to be battle tested, especially as the season progresses. I know they've actually come into Wallace Wade to take on Duke, but they're going to be battle tested. If they can get through it, there's no reason why they can't get back to here in Charlotte in December.
And NC State quickly here. I just look at the talent. I think they've got a lot of talent, and it's just about will it come together in time, and that's what Dave Doran's task is. They brought talent out of the portal. They returned talent. Casey Concepcion deciding to return to NC State, and like those things are big decisions. They improved the offensive line. I'm looking for that offense to be pretty explosive. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I also want to tell you about my friends over at Window Nation. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years going on right now. Window Nation's vinyl windows can do it all, right? Everything that you can get from wood or composite windows at a fraction of the cost of wood or composite windows. The truth is that top quality vinyl windows from Window Nation will meet or beat the performance of wood or composite windows in most tests and measurements. And my favorite part, and this is what I keep emphasizing to you, is Window Nation doesn't expect you to just hear that and believe it. When you call and set up a no obligation, completely free consultation, they will come show you. They'll get out the heat lamps. They'll do the tests in front of you. There's something about being able to see, touch, feel the material as the tests are being done, that makes you believe it, right? Justin came out to my house from Window Nation, did them all for me, and made me a believer, and I'm certain they can do that for you as well. To set up that free no-obligation consultation, give them a call. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to schedule now. That's windownation.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Dave Clawson, head coach, Wake Forest. Not only does he sit down and talk with us about the season ahead, he also explains why he decided not to bring a quarterback to the ACC Kickoff Media Days, despite it being kind of themed at the Conference of Quarterbacks. That's coming up next.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Win Your Weight in Meat is back on 99.9 The Fan. Text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to be one of our finalists. Through August 2nd, we'll pick 10 people to come on air during the drive with me, Tim Donnelly, and share their weight. On August 5th, we will randomly select one lucky winner, and they will score their weight in meat. Served up by the North Carolina Pork Council and their dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383. Again, that's 800-298-9383. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Drive into summer with the Honda CR-V and Accord, your fun-to-drive, weekend getaway vehicles. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 CR-V or 2024 Accord.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
If you're a veteran, listen up. Did you know that you can access up to 100% of your home's equity right now? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. You can do it with Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program. You can get 30, 50, 100 grand or more and use that money to pay off all those credit cards and personal loans, car loans, or maybe use the cash to do that home improvement project. Veterans love working with Loan Pronto because they make it easy. No junk fees, no hassle. They can unlock that cash in your home's equity in a matter of weeks. Don't keep paying insane rates on credit cards. There's a smarter alternative with Loan Pronto. Get more info and start the process now at loanpronto.com. Or if your current VA loan rate is over 6.5%, Loan Pronto can get you in a streamlined refinance with a lower rate right now with no income verification and no appraisal. Lower your monthly payment big time. Loan Pronto makes it so easy for veterans. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is back at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte, and we are now joined by Dave Clawson, head coach, Wake Forest football. Coach, we're going to start with a thank you. Thank you for bringing DeVonte Gordon. There's not enough offensive linemen represented here. And I think the personality, the fun in the offensive line room is so much more than all the coach speak quarterbacks that we talk to all this time.
Yeah, well, the ACC really wanted us to bring a quarterback down, so we have a little package we're putting in with DeVonte playing quarterback that I guess he got the EA Sport college football game, and on last week he told me how good he was getting at reading the slow mesh. And so, like, that's a little bit of a breaking story that I'm sharing with you that, we got a whole package in there that DeVonte Gordon is going to play a little bit of quarterback for us.
Short yardage. I can't see anybody bringing him down.
Yeah, he wants to throw the bomb.
Even better. That slow mesh. I don't know if you paid attention much to the response to the game, but your slow mesh is a play that, like, nationally they're saying you need Wake Forest slow mesh in your college football video game. Did you have to, like, I don't know, coaches are protective of their key plays.
We should trademark that and, I don't know, get a few pennies anytime somebody utilizes it.
Every time those streamers get all the money out of it. Dave Clawson, Wake Forest head football coach, joining us here. Sticking on the game, everyone wants to talk to the players about the game. They have it set up upstairs, the new, and they can go at it. As a coach, are you worried? Because, that's a lot of time spent in front of a television that might be spent other ways.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to control what guys do in their room at night. And of all the things they could do, I think playing a video game of college football, as long as they get their sleep, I think for them it's really cool to be able to put on a video game and watch themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not a gamer. If you gave me an Atari joystick from 1980, I might be able to know what to do. These new controllers, I have no clue.
To jump into some of the more pressing issues of the offseason, you're one of the longest tenured coaches in the ACC, and I kind of ask this with an understanding of how I might see it, but does the offseason kind of stink now, where it used to be you focused on recruiting, then you got back to scheming and the football side of things, and now NIL and the transfer portal takes up so much of your time?
Yeah, I guess I look at it that our jobs as head coaches have evolved. And I think anytime something evolves, you have to either embrace it or you should leave. And so
adapt or die.
Yeah. And I've had to learn a different skill set. But I've been a head coach for 25 years, and sometimes learning a new skill set energizes you and invigorates you. And so, it is what it is. And this is now college football in 2024. Complaining about it or bemoaning it isn't going to be beneficial to me or Wake Forest football. So you have to embrace it.
More new. There's a couple new teams kicking around here. Did like you, Coach Doran, Coach Sweeney get together as the tenured and decide how, like, what the entry process is? Is it like what they have to do to earn their ACC stripes from the West Coast?
No, we kind of stay in our lane. So they're great schools. Those are good football coaches. I've gotten to know all three of them over the years and in our league meetings. And, the travel, quite honestly, in football is not that big of a deal. We're going to go out to California once every 2 years. And those are great brands, SMU, Cal, Stanford, great academic schools. I think they fit, the ACC and our value system. And we welcome them to the league. And, move was made to protect our league, to make sure we continue to exist. So I applaud Commissioner Phillips for being proactive.
Dave Clawson, head coach, Wake Forest, connecting with us at ACC Kickoff. Coach, you mentioned that the league may have encouraged bringing quarterbacks to this deal, and you didn't. Does that indicate any kind of the competition is still wide open with Bachmeier and Kern?
Well, the competition is open, and we have two guys competing for it. And I didn't think it was fair to bring one and not the other. And I didn't think it was fair to not bring three players that have been in our program for 5 and 6 years that have earned the right to be here and represent us. So to not bring Jasheen Davis, DeVonte Gordon, or Taylor Marin wouldn't be fair to them and what they've earned. And we don't have a starter And so to bring one without the other would not be the right message to our football team. So, they might not be real happy with me, but I felt it was best for our football team that we have the three guys here that we do.
And then before we let you go, that decision, when do you expect to have the starter, at least in your mind, maybe not passed along to us? Like what else needs to happen for that decision to be made?
Well, we'll go through camp and play it out. You don't have to make a decision until the first game. And so if it declares itself early, we'll make it. If it goes down to the wire, we'll make it then. We're not going to set an artificial timetable for convenience sake.
Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time, and good luck.
All right. Go Deeks.
Once again, that was Dave Clawson, head coach, Wake Forest, joining us here at ACC Football Kickoff in Charlotte. Little bit of information there involving the quarterbacks at the end of that conversation from Coach Clawson.
A little bit.
And actually, in a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
I think that explains some of the decisions we've seen from other teams.
Sure.
Because what Coach Clawson said was they encouraged the teams to bring a quarterback. Now, that makes sense because you see all of the conference of quarterbacks, and they wanted that to be a focal point.
Absolutely.
But that explains to me why a team like Duke or why a team like SMU, Cal, some of these teams have brought two quarterbacks because they were in the same quandary that Coach Clawson was in, which is the ACC wants us to bring a quarterback. I don't know who that guy is yet. So in a way, you could tell that maybe Duke and UNC were almost appeasing the ACC by saying, fine, I'll bring a quarterback, but you got to let me bring two because I don't know, which makes it, those dynamics matter. And it's why it stuck out to us so obviously when we did see that Duke, UNC, Cal, all were bringing more than one quarterback because it was very much like I've never seen coaches do that. Usually they just avoid bringing the quarterback. And I love that Dave Clawson, right? Year whatever coaching, he's just like, not going to tell me what to do, ACC.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not bringing a quarterback.
I'm going to bring my guys. Do you think you think he's protecting those young guys? Because if he brings two quarterbacks, they're going to get asked about it.
Maybe.
You think it's protecting those young guys? That way it's just like, you know what? You guys just focus on the playing and don't have to worry about being asked about it. Just focus on playing.
I think there's a good chance of that. I think there's a good chance of if you don't say anything at all, you can't put your foot in your mouth.
There's that too.
But I would also say, they're vying to be the quarterback at a Power 5 program. You better be prepared to have microphones in your face.
Sure.
If it's not today, it's the first time the media is able to talk to you at training camp. If it's not then, it's after the first game you play in. There's certain kind of base levels of what you have to be expected to do when you become a starting quarterback at a Power 5. So if that's what you want to do, you shouldn't be afraid of ACC Kickoff. And also, I'll put this out there. We're going to air a conversation we had with DeVonte Gordon, one of their offensive linemen, later on today. And I'll tell you right now, of everyone I've spoken to at ACC Kickoff, he was one of the more media ready, media trained.
Oh yeah.
He talked about the quarterbacks, and you could tell that he had been given the information that, hey, we don't know who our quarterback's going to be, and he wasn't going to tip it in either direction. He was going to answer your question, but he was going to make sure you were aware. So I think Wake Forest, and by the way, he's a sixth-year senior.
He knows.
But I think Wake Forest does a good job of getting their players ready for the media. So I don't know if Dave Clawson was protecting them as much as, and this is something we know about Dave Clawson. He's going to be Dave Clawson. Like he is and will be who he is. So the ACC called up and asked a favor, and he said, that's not what's best for my football team. So thankfully or politely, no.
Yeah.
When maybe some other schools were more, okay, yeah, well, let's work around it. Let's figure it out. Like I said, Duke's bringing 5. They're bringing 5 players. Every other school is bringing 1 coach and 3 players, I believe.
About.
SMU is bringing 5. We're piecing together a bit of a mystery as we speak. North Carolina brought 5 players. Yep. SMU brought 4 players, which is 1 more. These are also the schools that are bringing 2 quarterbacks. So I wonder if the ACC didn't say, bring 3 players. We'd like it to be a quarterback. And certain schools said, if you want it to be a quarterback, we're bringing more than 3. And the ACC said, deal. Wake Forest simply said, no. which is a very Dave Clawson way to go about
Love it. I love it. I'm for it.
And that's what that. By the way,
okay with it.
That's what's best in a college football conference is the personalities. It's why I'm excited for Stanford and Cal and SMU to be here. I'm excited for those things to get different personalities there. Don't forget, everybody, now through next Friday, August 2nd, text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 to enter for your chance to win your weight and meet. We will qualify one person each weekday around 4 o'clock to come on air, reveal their weight, and they will be one of 10 finalists. We'll then choose randomly out of those 10 finalists on Monday, August 5th. And that person will win their weight and meet. In addition to it, the North Carolina Pork Council will match that prize amount. So whatever the weight meat prize is, and they will donate that same amount to a local food bank. All of this is presented by the North Carolina Pork Council and the dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org. So we're going to be registering a new finalist at about 4 o'clock. So if you have texted in pork, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326, or you're doing so right now, make sure your phone is on, you can hear it, and then you won't miss the call. Because once we call, you have 5 minutes to call us back. We'll leave a voicemail, but you have 5 minutes to call us back, and that's all happening in the next 20 minutes or so. So when you're waiting meat, text pork to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we are expecting Manny Diaz, head coach of Duke, one of those teams that did bring 2 quarterbacks. So we'll ask him about it coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Every day, there's a new story. There's all sorts of rumors about, they're joining the Big 12. Florida State's going to the Big 12. Clemson's going to the Big 12. This is all air quotes and, internet stupidity. I've heard that not only with Florida State, but as many as 8 teams will be leaving the ACC to go to the Big 12. Shut up.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best riders tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to PNC Arena this weekend. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Great Clips. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and people like to call these the dog days. We're not quite to where the football season starts. All we've got is baseball, and it is a summer of soccer. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, a boost or a bonus daily. Something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Head over to FanDuel.com/AdamGold, FanDuel.com/AdamGold, and start making the most of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball, so you can bet on home runs, strikeouts, double plays, whatever you want at FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
We buy any car.
Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because selling it yourself can be, well, you know.
Okay, I'll give you half now.
And?
No, and just half.
What? Avoid the hassle. Come to We Buy Any Car instead. Get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price.
Yeah, I can't do half. I could probably bump it up to like 50%.
Just go.
Okay.
Get your free online valuation now at
WeBuyAnyCar.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, live from ACC Football Kickoff. ACC Football Kickoff coverage on 99.9 The Fan is driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. I'm just going to say this real quickly here, and we are expecting Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach, to join us, so we may have to cut off a conversation short when Coach Diaz gets here. But with it being the opening of Panthers camp today, practice actually taking place earlier this morning, every commercial that I go to, maybe not every, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but nearly every commercial I go to, there is somebody else across the NFL holding out or wanting more money, or holding in, which is the new form of holding out, which means you don't get fined for not being in attendance, but you're not participating in anything. Just during that last little bit of time here, I learned that Trent Williams of San Francisco holding out, not there. Brandon Ayuk of San Francisco holding in. He is there but not practicing. CeeDee Lamb holding out. Mm-hmm. Jordan Love holding in. There's a bunch of these across the NFL. And it's kind of nice that the Panthers don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, I guess you're not good enough to have that.
I was just going to say, the flip side of that coin is nobody's outperformed a contract enough.
Nope.
They're just all happy to be there and be getting paid to play football, which is a different kind of maybe that's it. How about that for Spin Zone? They aren't good holdouts. A bunch of holdouts means your team is good. That's a good Spin Zone there. With that being said, I mentioned Manny Diaz, head football coach for Duke, is in the building here at ACC Kickoff, and he is throwing on the headset to talk to us right now. Manny, can you hear me? Are you good? All right. You can go ahead and grab a seat if you're more comfortable. Stand up, whatever's up for you. How does it feel to be back at ACC Kickoff as a head coach?
Feels great.
Is it how you remembered it?
Yeah. There's a few more mannequins in the hallway dressed up in uniforms. It's exciting. It's a league. A lot of familiar faces for me. A lot of people that I know in this league. 6 years at Miami, 6 years at NC State, 3 years at FSU. So getting on 15 years of being in this league. So there's definitely a sense of familiarity, and I'm proud and honored to be back here as a head football coach for Duke.
Do you have maybe any of those three teams circled on the schedule, the ones that you used to? You know, I know November 2nd, you have Miami. Is that one circled for you?
I saw the league was kind of to put all of my old schools on the schedule, including a couple of former bosses. But, you know, it's funny. We've had a saying forever, never, never, is that on game day, the opponent's always nameless and faceless. And I know that sounds like coach speak, but it really is. You're playing against yourself. You just are. You're playing against what you're capable of and what you're doing. And once you start making the opponent something more than what it is, it's important that we talk to our guys as staff as we're going through training camp, that we're teaching you techniques and skills that no matter who we play, if we do this, we will be successful. Therefore, if all of a sudden we get to a game week and we're saying we're playing this team, they're not that good. Oh, wait, do I not need to? We're playing this team, they're great. And all of a sudden,
I've got a history with this team, a little extra this week.
Yeah. So what you're saying, if it's a little extra this week, then what happens the following week? Is it a little bit less? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every week, it's so hard to win in this league. The games are always so close. So every week demands everything you have. And so that will be the battle cry no matter who we are and where we're playing.
Manny Diaz, Duke football coach, connecting with us at ACC Kickoff. If the games are that close, oftentimes comes down to a 2-minute drive led by the quarterback, the man on the team. You brought a couple of them here to ACC Kickoff with you in Grayson Loftus and Malik Murphy. How is that competition developing, and when maybe do you think you'll know who's going to be the guy given the opportunity to win those close games?
I think you're exactly right. I think with the 2-minute warning rule coming in this year too, I think you'll see even more close games similar to the National Football League. Look, when Riley Leonard left last year, there was sort of a dark cloud over the program. The players, you could just see the wind had been come out of the sails after all the success the last 2 years. Bringing Malik in was important, of not just stemming the tide, but turning around our momentum. Malik was so crucial. Forget the people on the outside, inside our locker room, to realize, like, wait a minute, we don't have to take a step backwards this year.
And it was very quick after your regime took over.
It was actually great. He committed on the day that Duke was winning their bowl game. The great unintended consequence is that what you would want as a coach is that competition makes everybody better. And Grayson Loftus played his tail off during spring ball. And our locker room truly believes that we have 2 quarterbacks we can win with. And that's not the old, if you got 2, you got none. No, we have 2 guys you can win with. Now the question going into training camp is, who can we beat everybody with? Or also, who makes too many mistakes that we could lose to anybody with them playing? And that'll be really the challenge. It'll happen fast. I mean, basically our last scrimmage is probably major scrimmage is about 2 weeks before the first game, and you'll really want to know by then. And if you don't know for sure, you'll know what little final details will come before you can decide it.
You hinted at something that I think is an interesting part for your program, which is last year, and you brought up Riley Leonard. It was a really fun year, right? For us covering it, there were some the Clemson game, college game day. It was a really fun year, which I'm sure you want to build off of. But then also taking over a program, it's almost a fresh start. You want things done your way. How do you balance those two kind of opposite feelings that are going to lead into this season?
Well, the first key was retaining David Feely in the weight room. That was the whole key. That was the whole key for me coming. That's a key for our players. And to the essence of your question is, every coach could talk to you here this week, and they're all going to talk about establishing our culture and culture. Well, when you have David Feely in your weight room, the culture's already established. Culture is a fancy word that just means, like, what are we willing to do for one another? Mm-hmm. Well, in our strength program, the guy won Strength Coach of the Year. It's not just about pushing weights. It's about how they run, how they grind, the discipline they have, the leadership skills that they're forced to use on each other. That is the culture. So I think our players took a lot of comfort from the fact that they already knew what to expect coming back. I took a lot of comfort knowing that no matter where I was this summer, I knew David Feely was getting our guys ready to go into an ACC season.
I've always said that the strength coach is the only person that's never surprised by a breakout, right? There's somebody has a big season and everyone else is like, where did this come from? The strength coach is like, well, most of it came in, June,
That's
right?
That's exactly right.
So if he's tipping you off, who's due for a breakout? Who's showing up in the off season that we're all going to be absolutely flabbergasted by that you guys will know is coming?
Trying to pick a names that maybe aren't as obvious.
Mm-hmm. It's Jaquez Moore and those things. They're like popular breakout.
Right, the guys like that. I mean, obviously we expect huge years out of Jaquez and all of our wide receivers. I'll mention a guy that, because David Feely just went through yesterday with our staff, went through every player one by one, just kind of every little detail of what they did in the summertime, where they PR'd, everything. And VJ Anthony at defensive end is a guy that mentioned is training at a whole different level of anything he's ever done.
At a position where all that matters.
And defensive end in this scheme, we had a first rounder and a second rounder at Penn State last year. You get a lot of chance to make plays as defensive ends in the scheme. So I think VJ and Wes Williams are very excited about what they can do at defensive ends. Luckily, we got the depth of guys like Ryan Smith and Michael Reese, behind them to back them up. So I think they have a chance. Not a lot of fans probably know about Kendi Charles coming from Liberty at D tackle. I think he'll be a really important player for us on that side of the ball. We had a linebacker named Alex Howard who started at Youngstown State, went to A&M for the spring and came here. Same thing. So there are some guys that probably names that fans are not as familiar with. Another name that fans may be familiar with that I just think is poised to do something really insane this year is Nicky Dalmolin at tight end. This is a guy that thought he was done playing football, came back after spring, can absolutely fly. And with what we do in this offense, I think we can really, really get some matchup issues and really, give him the type of year. We'll see, but I've got a suspicion that this guy's going to catch a ton of balls.
We'll put the marker on it. We'll pay attention. Yeah. Manny Diaz, head coach, Duke, joining us here. You bring up he can do in this offense. Jonathan Brewer, not the most experienced offensive coordinator out there, but he's implementing his system now. What do you expect? Can you describe what you expect from his offense?
Well, so I have a saying, you interview for your job every day, right? So I sit in the quarterback meetings as a head coach. My last 2 years, I sat in a quarterback meeting with Jonathan Brewer and Rhett Lashley. So I know how he thinks, how intelligent he is, his ability to portray information to the players, and watching the success we had on offense in 2020 and 2021 at Miami, including when your starting quarterback goes down week 4 or 5 and you got to bring in a redshirt freshman that ends up tearing up and being ACC Freshman of the Year. So, and Johnny was a big part of that. So he was ready. I knew, I knew what I wanted to be on offense, and I knew that Johnny was the best guy to lead us there. So it's an offense that's going to be quarterback friendly. I think when Duke has been great, you look at the years with Cutcliffe, the different, what a great quarterback coach and quarterback whisperer he was.
Absolutely.
So I think at Duke you should have great quarterbacks. I think our school should attract great quarterbacks, and so to bring in a guy like Johnny who's got an offense that the ball is going to be in the air, we can throw it, but it's easy on a quarterback. You don't have to do very difficult things. The reads are simple, so you can play fast, go fast, and that's how Van Dyke had the year he had his first year, and I think we can replicate that.
Coach, we appreciate you for stopping by. Good luck this season, and we're going to pay attention to all those breakout names.
Fantastic. Thank you all.
Once again, that's Manny Diaz, Duke football coach, joining us. How about that? I think at Duke, we should just have great quarterbacks. And matter of fact, we're going to talk to one of those guys who those quarterbacks are going to be throwing to, Jordan Moore, grad student, Duke wide receiver, sitting down in the same seat. Before we do, though, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
Middle of the day Wednesday, warm. We're hot this afternoon, low 90s. Then a WRAL weather alert day in effect due to a medium risk for flooding and a level 1 risk for some isolated strong storms. That'll happen mainly this evening. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 510 points at 39,847. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Our Football at 4 is going to be an interview with Jordan Moore, Duke wide receiver. But just so everybody knows, when you're waiting when you're waiting meat, the contest still going on. If you've texted in pork to 919-860-5326, keep your phones on because Graham is going to give one of you a call to be a finalist coming up right about now. Jordan, how do you like your barbecue? Let's start right there.
I love brisket.
Brisket? Okay.
My dad's brisket, yes, sir.
You said your dad's?
Yes.
Not going to argue with that at all. But now let's jump into the football questions here. How interesting is it this season? You've been around Duke for a while now, and kind of some of your crew is gone, right? Riley
Yes.
Leonard, Jalen Calhoun, Jordan Waters, for a bunch of different reasons, not alongside you. How is that affecting you and the offense going into next season?
Yeah, obviously all of them are great players and great teammates. When they decided to leave for whatever reason it was, I knew I had to step up as a leader. One of the oldest guys in the room, oldest guys on the team, and I think that my impact and my role here has to be increased, to be that guy who they look up to now. And so I think that my focus on leadership and bringing these guys along is something that I've focused a lot on.
The Jordan Waters one obviously is a little different than the others because he's going to be wearing red on the other side of town.
Yes.
How weird is that going to be? How do you think you'll react to seeing him on that other sideline?
I mean, it's going to be a little weird, but like with everything, I think people need to do the best things for themselves and their family, and you can't do anything but respect it. I mean, I literally just got off the phone with him 10 minutes ago. Like, we're still great friends, and I respect his decision, and I wish him the best. And all of us college football players dream about making it to the league, and I hope that he can do that because he has the talent to.
Jordan Moore, grad student wide receiver for Duke, connecting with us here at ACC Kickoff. Last year was a pretty exciing one for Duke, right?
Yes, definitely.
From us watching, it was exciting, so I can only imagine what it was like inside College Game Day. You rise in the AP poll all the way into I think it was top 15.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that season that you can pass along? You mentioned your leadership role that you can pass along to some of these guys, whether through portal or maybe didn't participate in it last year.
Yeah, I think that the wins come with the preparation. We're always prepared to play every game. We had confidence in that, and I think that the more connected team wins. And our culture in our locker room is very different. I mean, we all love each other. We're all very supportive of each other, and it's an egoless locker room. So that's good.
Is it more difficult to prepare and have that preparation kind of locked up as an offense when there's a quarterback competition going on, and obviously two of them are here with you, Grayson Loftus and Malik Murphy, and you're trying to get the timing down in the reps with two different guys rather than just one like it's been in the past?
I mean, some people would think that, but I think the professionalism that they bring to the game is something that needs to be of note, because they work as hard as anybody else out there, and we have our chemistry so great with both quarterbacks that it doesn't matter who's in. I mean, obviously one quarterback is going to have to play, and that's just the business of college football, and that's not my decision. It's Coach Diaz's decision. So all I can really do is be a good teammate, support both of them, and catch the ball with whoever throws it to me.
Okay, are you in both of their ears? Is that it? Just a little bit more talking? You got to let them know. Both two guys, you got to let them know you're open?
Hey, hopefully I won't have to let them know. Hopefully I can show them.
The offense is also changing, right?
Yes.
We were just talking with your head coach, Manny Diaz, about Coach Brewer's offense and what he's bringing in. How would you describe not only his offense, but your role within it?
Yeah, I think that Coach Brewer's offense is exciting. It's like probably every wide receiver's dream to throw the ball so much. I think my role, it can be pretty big, but, I think we have so many talented receivers on our team, and the amount of deep shots we take and the amount of passes we have, I mean, we're gonna see a lot of receivers playing, and I think that a lot of our guys are prepared for that opportunity and will shine when that happens. So, I mean, if one of us eats, we all eat, and I hope and I can see us all eating.
Jaquez Moore, I want to talk about him because you brought up explosive plays. You bring up his Duke football bio, and there's these stats about his 20+ yard touchdowns and everything else. In an offense like this, what is he going to be able to do?
I mean, like I said, if we throw the ball a lot, I mean, open up just for him. Jaquez has great vision, like you said. I mean, I don't think I've seen him run less than 20 yards. But yeah, I think that it's a great balance, because when things start to open up for receivers, then I mean that's caused by the running backs. And when things start to open up for the running backs, that's caused by the receivers. So I think it's just a great balance of talent and a great balance of scheme.
Last question for you here. I was on your Twitter account today. Your pictures, your profile picture, your background picture, still back from the quarterback days. Are you still itching to play a little quarterback?
Oh, not really. I think that's more so the fact that I haven't been on my Twitter a lot, but
you tweet about your ranking on college football.
Oh yeah.
So hey, I've done my research. You can't put me on that one.
Yeah, maybe now that you said that, I'll change it. But
everyone wants to be a quarterback. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's every musician wants to be an athlete. Every athlete wants to be a musician, and everyone wants to be the quarterback, right?
Hey, at least I can say I've done both.
True. Not many can. Jordan, we appreciate you for stopping by and hanging with us here at ACC Kickoff, and good luck this season.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Once again, that is Jordan Moore, grad student wide receiver from Duke, chopping it up with us here at ACC Kickoff. As I said before talking with Jordan there, our Win Your Weight in Meat contest is going on. Probably the only conversation at ACC Kickoff that is bookended by Win Your Weight in Meat conversation. But now through next Friday, August 2nd, text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326. Enter for your chance to win your weight in meat each day, including in just a moment here. We will qualify a finalist. We will announce the winner on Monday, August 5th out of the finalists. And Graham, you're back at the studio. Do we have one set up, or are you going to call one now?
I'm calling somebody else just because our first selection did not get back to us in time. So I'm calling somebody else right now.
Let that be a lesson to all of you. When we say we're going to call around 4, we're going to call once. We'll call right back. If you don't answer either of those, we will leave a voicemail saying you have 5 minutes from now. The clock will start, and if you don't call us back in those 5 minutes, we will go on to the next winner. So if you want to win your weight in meat around 4 o'clock, you just got to keep your phone on somewhere you can hear it. In addition to this contest, by the way, when we pick the winner, the North Carolina Pork Council will match the prize amount to donate to a local food bank. All of this presented by the North Carolina Pork Council and the dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org. Looking at Manny Diaz, and I actually think this is a kind of a cool deal where we hit the coach and the wide receiver back-to-back on conversations for a team with a quarterback competition going on. Coach Diaz was, I think up front with us saying that there's the last scrimmage 2 weeks before opening day, 2 weeks before the opening practice, and you would really like to have your quarterback decided by there. Jordan Moore, on the other hand, as a player, is going to be a little bit more withdrawn and says, I'm getting used to both. I think the earlier the better, right? You're going to hear me say this. UNC has a quarterback competition going on that feels very, very, very up in the air. Duke, you just heard it there. They have one. Wake Forest, we talked with Dave Clawson earlier today, their head coach, and he emphasized that there's two guys still in the running to be their quarterbacks, in Kern and Bachmeier. I think the earlier the better. Now, obviously, ACC Kickoff, maybe not fair or not realistic to have a decision made by now because you want to see some of training camp, but I don't think anybody wants to wait a minute longer than they have to, especially a team like Duke, who is incorporating a new offense, which we learned about there from Coach Diaz as well as Jordan Moore. It's a little different than what Duke's been running, right? Mike Elko and Manny Diaz are both defensive-minded, defensive background coaches, I guess you should say, right? Cut their teeth as defensive coordinators. But Manny Diaz has definitely embraced a little bit more of a modern, aired-out offense. And that's going to be exciting for wide receivers like Jordan Moore, but it's also going to be a change, right? It's also going to be something that's a little bit of a shock, a little bit of a wake-up. For everybody else. So they're going to want their quarterback decided so they can get in there and really get into the nitty-gritty of that offense. We promised a finalist in our Win Your Weight and Meet competition. Drew in Raleigh is that finalist for today. Drew, congratulations. You are one of the 10 finalists that Drew might possibly win your weight and meet.
That's awesome. I would love to.
All right. So first of all, to officially become a finalist, officially, you have to reveal your weight. So what are we working with, Drew?
195, which is better than the last couple days.
That is true. You if you are the winner, you're going to get the most payout in the prize out of the last few days, which is a solid way to think about it. Drew, give us the order though. Give us your preference. Mm-hmm. How are we preparing the meat? What style? Give us as much detail as you can.
We're just going to run it on back to the electric smoker and let that shoulder go for about 10 to 12 hours until we can pull it apart and the bone comes out smooth.
So you do this? This is one of your hobbies?
Absolutely. I've been doing it. I went from a stick burner to a stick smoker to an electric smoker because, well, I've gotten older and lazier.
Hey,
that's fair. That's fair.
I respect that.
Drew, we can be friends. I feel like I need more friends that are willing to put the effort in to make that type of delicious meal, and then I can just show up after like the 10, 12 hours and eat it.
Well, that would be great. You're welcome in Wake Forest anytime.
Perfect. Just heard that. Now I know if you win your weight and meat, I'm invited to the cookout. Drew, we appreciate you for listening and participating. Stay on the line. There might be a little bit more information Graham needs to get from you, but other than that, congrats, and we'll see if you're the winner.
Great. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great day.
Appreciate it. Speaking of having a great day, I have some more information to pass along to all of you. Tim Donnelly here for Coach Pete and everyone over at Capital Financial Advisory Group. We're talking to coaches all week here, right? We're talking to coaches. We're talking to leaders. We're talking to people that are all about guiding their players all the way into the end zone. Well, that's what Coach Pete wants to do. Maybe in a little bit more of a metaphorical way or an analogy way, but he is all about setting you up to get into the retirement end zone, right? That retirement red zone is where you need to be absolutely on top of it, and he can help you. The way he says it is, Coach Pete is committed to helping you retire like a champion, getting you through that financial red zone, over the goal line, and into the retirement end zone. What does that mean? That means protecting your retirement, while also maximizing the income, right? Because you want your money to work for you. You want it to grow as much as you can, while also protecting yourself against the very, very scary things, right? Making sure the retirement income doesn't stop due to long-term illness or your spouse dying. There's everything you want to check out, and that's what Coach Pete is there to do, guide you through all of those obstacles and make sure you're doing all right. Coach Pete and the fiduciary planning team at Capital Financial can help you build that plan free of charge. All you have to do is let them know you heard about it from me on 99.9 The Fan. So call 800-691-3215. Say you heard about it from Tim, or you can just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. Once again, that number to call, 800-691-3215, or text my name, TIM, to 600-700. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our ACC kickoff coverage with conversations from a Miami star who grew up in American Samoa, and much, much more. Stick around.
The world's best athletes are in Paris going for the gold, and 99.9 The Fan will help you follow them for all 16 days of the Summer Games. Starting Friday, listen for all the action from across the Atlantic. Check in often for event reports from Paris and the updated medal count as Team USA takes on the world. Updates from the Summer Games on 99.9 The Fan are presented by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at NorthCarolinaFC.com.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's bow time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Walgreens and all Lowe's food stores.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hey, Katie. Hi. Let's embark on a performance calibration initiative synthesizing qualitative and quantitative metrics for this past fiscal year.
If Heineken Silver was corporate jargon, it would have all the info you need. None of the annoying gibberish.
What I was trying to say is, you crushed it last year, Katie. Lady, you are getting a big, fat bonus.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're continuing our ACC Football Kickoff coverage. By the way, all of our ACC Football Kickoff coverage from here in Charlotte on 99.9 The Fan is driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. We have a couple of interviews coming up here for you. We're expecting Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end from Boston College, and the player I mentioned before the break, Francisco Mauigoa, a senior linebacker for Miami, who actually grew up playing football in Samoa. So
That's awesome.
That is a trek from Samoa to Miami, but both he and his brother have made it, and we'll talk to him about it. First, though, we just talked with a Duke contingent, right? We talked with Manny Diaz. We talked with Jordan Moore. One of the more, how do I say this, rich Duke alum. I don't even know.
Football-wise, yeah.
Football-wise. Actually, that's true,
Yeah,
too. Tim Cook. Football alum would be Daniel
Ken
Jones.
Jong has made a lot of money off the hangover.
Says something about
Masked
Duke
Singer.
that somebody's on a $40 million a year contract. And we just laughed at calling him one of the rich alum. Daniel Jones has been cleared for all contact heading into training camp for the Giants.
It's good.
He is on the precipice of. And I think Duke should pay attention to this because it's only good for the program when you have a starting quarterback in the NFL. Matter of fact, the ACC is bragging about it, how many starting quarterbacks they have expected for week one. So for the ACC to continue making those claims, they need guys like Daniel Jones to keep their job. This is one of the biggest make or break seasons that I can remember for a player in the NFL. Daniel Jones is a great season away from continuing to be a $40+ million per year player and continuing to be the starting quarterback of the New York Giants for potentially another decade. He is a rough start away from in that Mitch Trubisky area of, can I find a good backup spot to help me resurrect what I had as a starter? Or I mean, you can there's a million different guys who fall under that. I just use Mitch Trubisky as an example.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
So Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback for the Panthers.
Yeah.
They love the reclamation projects at QB.
There's a possibility there. He just needs to get back to where he was in college. Just get him back in the same state. But being healthy for him to start camp, I think, is actually more important than you think. I'm not the first person to say it. Matter of fact, I'm probably the millionth person to say it. Daniel Jones runs more than you think.
He runs a ton.
And taking that away from his game would make it much harder for him to be an effective starter in the NFL. So, sometimes you see the guys, if they're not cleared at the beginning of camp, if they're cleared halfway through, they're just a little bit more protective, right? They didn't get to ramp up with everybody else. It's a little different. So Daniel Jones being cleared for the beginning, the absolute beginning of this make or break season, I think is not only good news for the Giants, but it's good news for Duke. It's good news for their program, and it's good news for the ACC based on all the stats they want to keep rolling. And then on top of that, the Giants can be really different this year. Do you know why? Because Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yep.
And Malik Neighbors was drafted so highly to be the kind of their playmaker. There's some adjustments that need to happen with the Giants this preseason. And Daniel Jones is going to have to be in the middle of it, orchestrating it, right? Not just, hey, coach, what do I do? Right? In the NFL, it's much more, hey, guys, this is how I want it. What's the Captain Phillips line? I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now, right? Daniel Jones has to get in Malik Neighbors' ear and say, this is how I want it. It was actually funny, and Panthers fans will appreciate this quick story. We're here in, the Hilton in Charlotte? And
Uptown Charlotte.
There's a billion people connecting their laptops to the wireless, right?
Yes.
So I saw a clip from, it was Bleacher Report Football. It was on social media, Twitter. And the caption said, who's going to stop this? Or like nobody, whatever. I forget what it was. It was basically saying like nobody's going to stop this. And there's a video. But it was loading slowly. So it was like really pixelated and the color was kind of off. And I was like, great. The caption got me. And I looked at it and to be honest with you, it kind of looked like maybe a Panthers practice uniform. So I was like, are they really saying like, who's going to stop this? And it's going to be, like Xavier Legette and Bryce Young or something.
Yeah.
So I waited for it to load. And 30 seconds later, I'm getting frustrated. And then finally it loads. And it was Saquon Barkley next to Jalen Hurts. And I went, that makes more sense.
That makes much more sense.
But that there is an element of Saquon Barkley was that dude. You put him next to Daniel Jones. I'm still going like, it's going to be kind of tough to stop because Saquon's that good. You take that off the Giants offense, take that out of the backfield, much more of it is going to fall on Daniel Jones. So this season, be ready to to see how he performs with not just the pressure of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, which it's about as pressure-packed as you can be, but being a starting quarterback in the NFL who believes, the first month may decide the rest of your career.
He's on thin ice, short leash, however you want to describe it. But
hot seat.
Yeah, hot seat. Again, like use your cliche, however you want to, what you want to put it. But he is at that make or break point in his career,
and
he really is
in a weird way. Should be.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
You'll hear me. I don't want to say sugar-coated or mince words or anything, but certain college quarterbacks I feel for when they get put on like a hot seat because I'm like, there's enough pressure. They don't need that on top of them. And if everybody's talking about their job, you're making $40 million a year. I tend to go, well, with great money comes great responsibility, buddy. You got to go perform.
Uncle Ben will probably agree with you on that one. But the thing is that he's paid to be a difference maker. What difference are you going to make? Are you making it in the positive? Or are you going to be that difference that's like, oh, you actually are like, you're holding us back. Like, you're going to be a difference maker in one way or shape or form.
Maybe the line of the season that defines what Daniel Jones is going to be dealt with or is going to have to deal with came from Joe Shane on the Giants Hard Knocks, their offseason Hard Knocks, where they were discussing how all in they wanted to be on bringing Saquon back. And at one point, Joe Shane just looked at the rest of the group, and it was the assistant GM, the head of scouting, and everybody, and said, we're not paying Daniel Jones $40 million to hand it off to a $12 million running back.
Yeah.
It's like when you're paying somebody that much, you're paying them to turn Devin Singletary into a high-level producing running back or, whoever their wide receivers end up being. And then on top of that, Waller also retired in the middle of the offseason. So
yeah, Darren Waller, their tight end.
Just another thing I had in my notes here that I wanted to mention. So Daniel Jones cleared for contact. Now you get to put pedal to the metal. Rubber meets the road when it comes to the make or break season that he's dealing with. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are expecting more ACC kickoff interviews, including Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end from Boston College, and Francisco Mauigoa, senior linebacker from Miami, in the next few minutes here as they continue.
I say, by the way, talking about interviews and people that we're talking to tomorrow.
Give him the list. Stacked. Give him the list.
Stacked. Kyle McCord, quarterback from Syracuse, who transferred from Ohio State, and his running back, LaQuint Allen. Also, Davin Vann, Jordan Waters from NC State, Dave Durham from NC State, Cade Klubnik, Barrett Carter from Clemson, Mac Brown, and Amari Hampton from UNC.
There you go. As we said, Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end from Boston College, sitting down with us now, throwing the headset on. Donavan, appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is ACC Kickoff, cool event for everybody. But I have to imagine for certain schools, right, there's maybe more attention on one than the other. Do you feel like Boston College is being underlooked a little bit?
Well, being here, I wouldn't say so. No. Obviously, we know what it is, especially like social media and things like that. I actually have to delete certain social media apps because I kind of read some things. But that's fine. Like, we love that chip on our shoulder. It's Boston College. We've always had that chip on our shoulder since the Doug Flutie days and Matt Ryan days. So this is nothing new for us.
Well, you didn't delete all your social media. I was checking out your Twitter earlier.
Yeah.
You retweeted a Micah Parsons highlight. Is that your guy? Is that who you model it after?
So I model after Von Miller, but I think I'd take,
obviously you'll take any of them.
Yeah, from all these different guys, especially, a guy like Micah Parsons, who's been electric his first couple of years in the NFL, and, him being similar in size with me. So definitely try to model, some aspects of my game after Mike. I love seeing those guys.
Does that mean we're going to see you running with wheel routes and everything and covering downfield?
I think so. I did it a few times last year, but I think so this year.
All right. Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end, Boston College, joining us here. One of the big stories of the offseason in the ACC is your new coach, Bill O'Brien.
Yep.
He brings a certain amount of star factor, right, with his NFL career and everyone he's interacted with. I saw he brought in Julian Edelman to talk to the team.
He did.
How was that?
Oh, it was good. Julian Edelman, he's one of the guys. You could tell what kind of guy he was in the locker room, just by him talking to us. Definitely a lot of knowledge, put us on some game. At the same time, he's one of the guys too. So he joked it up with us as well. Like it wasn't like it was a serious sit down talk where no pads and everything like that. He kind of just spoke to us, and I think his message was received well. So I really liked, the fact that he came in and, gave us a few moments of his time.
Did he give you any like nuggets or things to deal with Coach O'Brien?
No, he didn't give us any nuggets to deal with them. He did tell us a few funny stories about Coach OB. I can't really remember just exactly what it was, but I know that him and Coach O'Brien used to go at it just a little bit back in the day. So
have you gotten any JJ Watt stories from Coach O'Brien? Just being kind of more position alignment?
Not stories, really just Coach O'Brien letting us know that he has knowledge and he's coached those guys like JJ Watt, a future Hall of Famer. So that's pretty much it.
Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end, Boston College, here with us on the drive. How much has the program changed since Bill O'Brien, since Coach OB took over?
I would say in terms of guys, like in the locker room, the program hasn't changed. Obviously, we got transfers in the first transfer portal window. But after Coach Hafley had left, nobody left. You know what I mean? We were able to retain guys. Obviously, Coach O'Brien brings a different fire and different spark to the to the team, and I think that's that's helped us because we're trying to rebrand our culture a little bit, really get back to what Boston College football should be, and it was at some point in time. So definitely adding that spark and that fire to this culture.
How does that happen, right? Because in the world of transfer portals, a coach leaves, it's usually like every time you refresh your social media, it's another player deciding to transfer out. What was it about that group, or who was leading that group, that decided, and now let's wait and see how this plays out?
I think it was obviously myself included, but it was a good amount of us that leadership on that I guess leadership panel maybe. Guys, let's just wait it out. Let's see what happens. Let's see who they bring in. We knew that there would be a 30-day window from when Coach Hafley left to whoever or whatever the case may be, a month window. So we just give it a little time, and then when Coach O'Brien came in, he was like, give me a moment, let's do spring ball, and then if you feel as though that's what you want to do after spring ball, then we could have that honest conversation. And so we had spring ball, and guys saw the upside and what we can have here at Boston College.
And then he was bringing in Julian Edelman, and he was like, look how cool this is. Y'all should stay. I mean, it's like being recruited all over again. I brought up kind of a loose depth chart for your defense here. And it's kind of, the thing that jumped out to me immediately is kind of what we're talking about here, but I want to dive in a little further. Senior, graduate student, redshirt junior, senior, graduate student, redshirt junior, junior, senior. Do you not let underclassmen get any reps at practice? Is that the rule? Freshman and sophomore off to the side. We got this.
So we do have some young guys that's obvious that they've been stepping up as of late. That being Max Tucker, KP Price on the defensive side. I'm talking about.
Yep,
here.
and then that's what I was listing off there.
Yep. And then obviously Amari Jackson. He's going to his true junior year. So. Those are younger guys, but it's good that we finally have, older veteran guys, upperclassmen that have had in-game experience and that know, what college football is. They're not going to get, scared by the bright lights or anything like that. So
before we let you go, Donovan, I'm sure you saw the signs, Conference of Quarterbacks, the ACC's, the Conference of Quarterbacks.
I didn't see that sign.
All right, there's a big one right over, right there, right over your shoulder.
I see it. Now I see it.
There's smaller ones all around.
Beautiful. I love it.
And so I'm asking, as a defensive guy, is there one quarterback of the Conference of Quarterbacks that you want to get on the ground the most?
Not one that I want to, because I want to get them all on the ground. Pause all that. But I if it's a conference of quarterbacks, that means it has to be a conference of pass rushers, in my opinion. That's how I see it. I don't really see it as that being a negative, but I see it as it being a positive for guys in my position. That guys that got to get after the quarterback. So I'm excited to see what this year has to offer. I'm excited to game by game see what we can do at that defensive line spot.
All right, Donovan, we appreciate you for stopping by and talking with us, and good luck this season.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, Donavan Ezeiruaku, senior defensive end, Boston College, stopping by here at ACC Football Kickoff. Up next, we have a conversation with Francisco Mauigoa, senior linebacker from Miami. We talked to him earlier today about what it was like and what he misses most about his home in Samoa, where he played his high school football. Francisco Mauigoa conversation from earlier today starts now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, joined by senior linebacker from Miami, the U, Francisco Mauigoa. Francisco, thank you very much for taking the time. I grew up in Hawaii, so I know a little bit about the Polynesian culture and everything going on there. You grew up in Samoa?
Yeah.
What food do you miss most?
Oh, there's a lot, man. I miss the luau pipi. It's a turkey wrapped in taro leaves with coconut milk and onions in it. It's really good.
I mean, it sounds good. The other thing I know about Polynesian culture is, especially in football, is there's a loyalty, there's a brotherhood that's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your Polynesian football GOAT. Who's the best?
I think any Polynesian football player would say Troy Polamalu.
Mm.
He's one of them guys that kind of set the standard.
My producer's a Steelers fan, so as soon as that was said. Steelers fan?
No, I'm not a Steelers fan.
Just
Troy Polamalu. I'm a Troy Polamalu
right.
fan.
All right, so you're playing linebacker. Obviously, Polamalu is safety, but some of those instincts and everything, does that come through?
Yeah, I mean, if you see Troy Polamalu and the way he played, very instinctive and he's very aggressive. And I think that's kind of what I see and kind of form and shape my game too, was just how he played the game. And you can just see the intensity that he plays the game, and any defensive player would look at it at the same way. So yeah.
Francisco Mauigoa, senior linebacker, Miami, connecting with us here at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte on The Drive. Growing up in Samoa, did you like the U and what Miami was? Did that make it out there, or are you experiencing all this for the first time?
To be honest, I never. I would watch the Miami Hurricanes, but it wasn't as a big of a deal to me when I was young until, I made the transition to, college football, knowing what college football is all about and just seeing different schools. That's when I realized, the Miami Hurricanes is Miami Hurricanes. And if you look back in the history of it, like the defense is, they're pretty much known of how, aggressive and how great these guys played and fly around the ball. So,
all right, well, I'll ask that same question. Who's the Miami Hurricanes GOAT?
Ooh, Ray Lewis.
All right.
I say Ray Lewis.
So we got a Steeler, we got a Raven. We're playing both sides of all of it. Let's look at a different deal there, right? Because you grew up in Samoa, you end up playing in Washington State.
Yeah.
Are you tipping everybody off on what Cal's bringing because you're the Pac-12 and you understand what football they're bringing onto your schedule this year?
I mean, I always loved playing Cal. I played Cal twice when I was at Washington State, and they bring a lot to the table. I think they got a really good team this year, and I'm excited to play them again.
The other thing that's fascinating, your younger brother was a starter on the the offensive line for Miami as a freshman this past year. 5-star recruit, big deal. But I read an article that said coach doesn't shy away from putting you guys against each other in drills. Who's winning those battles?
I say 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
The bigger brother saying 50-50?
I say
that's
50-50.
very humble of you.
I mean, he's been working a lot to be where he's at right now. He has the will to, get better every single day and just have the grit to, just work towards his dream of, being a step ahead of everybody.
And are you passing on tips, right? You've seen everything that a linebacker can do to trip up an offensive lineman at the second level. What are those conversations like?
I mean, every time we just kind of critique each other after practices. We watch film and just critiquing each other, telling each other like what, the type of stance that you do that take, that tells us play in certain plays, or if I'm, showing a certain way that, that tells I'm blitzing. So all those goes into it. Just being able to critique each other to, to gain more confidence in playing the game of football.
We're here at ACC Kickoff, and one of the players I keep getting asked about is your teammate Cam Ward, and what he brings to the table. As somebody that's gone up against him in practice, what can you tell us about his game?
Cam Ward is a game changer. There's a reason why a lot of teams wanted Cam Ward, was the way he carried himself and the type of leader he is. And him coming to the Miami Hurricanes, when he first stepped in the locker room, you could just feel his presence. He's a great guy off the field, a great leader that will, not only because you can see leader and would shy away from it, but this guy goes to it. He is always about the players, always about the teammates, always around the teammates, playing something, playing football or playing basketball or on the game playing. But that's all part of it. Like, it builds so much into this team, having to have that leader that has that spot to, get everybody connected.
Can he hoop?
I think he can hoop. I've seen him hoop at Washington State. He can hoop. He can throw.
All right. And last question. This question is every year at ACC Kickoff. You have to ask it of the Miami guys. Is Miami back?
I say Miami's back.
All right. There you go. Wouldn't expect much else from the players from Miami. Francisco, we appreciate you for taking the time. Good luck this season.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Once again, that was Francisco Mauigoa, senior linebacker, Miami. His little brother, who we talked about in there, Francis Mauigoa.
Yeah.
He'll be in. The Panthers would love to have him as their left tackle. I'll put it that way.
Oh, not Icky?
And no disrespect even to Icky. I mean,
he's just that good.
Yeah, he's only going to be a sophomore this year. Started every game last year as a freshman, and if think about how crazy this is, go check out his highlight film. This dude's an offensive lineman. I'm telling you to go check out his highlight film.
My pancake.
There's some running downfield, taking out safeties 15 yards downfield that not many humans at that size can move. And Francisco Mauigoa, who just talked about, maybe not the size, plays on the other side of the football, but very good in his own right as well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, live from here in Charlotte at the ACC Football Kickoff. I said it earlier today. It does kind of feel as if today is the end of the offseason in football. The Panthers are practicing just a couple miles away, or they did practice this morning just a couple miles away from where we are. ACC Kickoff. We have some North Carolina teams, Duke and Wake Forest we're talking to today. So it's all good vibes from me right now. And we're going to talk about the Panthers in a couple minutes, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. I'm talking no credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash. I'm talking almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You could get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money out for that home improvement project you've been talking about doing since the spring. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now at 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll focus in on the first day of practice for the Carolina Panthers coming up next. Win Your Weight in Meat is back on 99.9 The Fan. Text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to be one of our finalists. Through August 2nd, we'll pick 10 people to come on air during the Drive with me, Tim Donnelly, and share their weight. On August 5th, we will randomly select one lucky winner, and they will score their weight in meat. Served up by the North Carolina Pork Council and their dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383. Again, that's 800-298-9383. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements, Raleigh, you're going to get many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the Aluminum Company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, continuing our show today from Charlotte, uptown Charlotte, here for the ACC Football Kickoff. But in a strange twist, we're kind of at the center of multiple football worlds because we're just a couple miles away from Panthers, who got their practice schedule started this morning.
I think this is Charlotte, North Carolina right now is the center of the football universe.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll go for it. Why not?
We'll take it.
What other city has, well, I guess Indianapolis is Big Ten. Never mind. Big Ten media days.
No, you don't think about it that hard. You just say something and you defend it blindly.
Yeah, you know what?
It is the center of the football universe.
We are the center of the football universe right here in North Carolina.
There you go. For at least the right now. Panthers training camp started this morning, and on the field, you're not going to learn a ton. It's mostly about availability for a first day.
Generally.
Although, you know, I did see that in the very first 7-on-7, Bryce Young went 4 for 4. Andy Dalton went 1 for 4 with an interception. Thus, Bryce Young MVP train.
Yep, on it. Let's go.
Choo-choo. Get on.
Might not be moving fast, but there's a train.
But it's got to start.
Exactly.
The trains always start slow. It's chuk, 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 chuk,
hey,
chuk,
you start
chuk,
from
chuk,
a stop.
Chuk, 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 chuk. Yeah, it speeds
Yeah,
up.
moving.
But the on the field stuff, like if he would have gone 0 for 4, I wouldn't be sounding a siren.
Oh.
So because he went 4 for 4, I can't be sounding the train whistle, right? It's day one. It's the first practice.
And they're only in helmets.
They're only in
helmets. There's no tackling. It was just a 7-on-7.
It's availability. That's what matters. Who was playing, who wasn't. And also, and I think you're going to see a lot of this from not Panthers players, but from Panthers front office and coaching staff. They're trying to get ahead of the expectation setting from the very beginning right now because they don't want fans doing exactly what I just said I was going to do. They don't want – that first practice was awesome. Xavier Legette told the media he beat Deebo Samuel in a race. This team is the come-from-nowhere, worst-to-first Super Bowl champion because they recognize that's not the most realistic thing in the world. Dan Morgan spoke to the media after spoke to the media yesterday after their conditioning testing. This is part of what Dan Morgan had to say.
You know, I'm not going to put any expectations on anything right now. What I do know is that there's a lot of work ahead of us, not only from a personnel standpoint, but the players. You know, the players know that they got to put the work in out there. We have a lot of new players that got to gel together out there and become a team. So In terms of playoffs, we'll reach that, when we're ready. But I think right now we're focused on today, tomorrow, and just trying to get better as a team and as an organization.
If you don't put any expectations out there, you can't underperform against expectations. Exactly. The way I'm kind of phrasing it is the only way a 6-win season seems like a disappointment for Panthers fans is if Panthers fans unfairly talk themselves into a 10-win expectation.
Mm-hmm.
6 wins is tripling it from last year.
Yeah.
It would come with, I assume, a great amount of improvement on the offensive side of the football, and it would show a little bit of that proof of concept, which I think is important for coaches. Coaches ask players to do hard things, right? They ask them to run the plays called. They ask them to work out hard. They ask them to put their body on the line. They ask them to literally stand in front of guys who are 260 pounds and run 4.4s and say, just absorb this hit for me so the quarterback can get the ball off. Like, they ask them to do hard things. And the little bits of proof that I know what I'm talking about, right? I asked you to do something hard. We won a game. Goes a long way because now players will continue to listen more and buy in more and buy in more. It's, it's important. So if they have a 6-win season, I consider that a massive success. I can already sense fans out there that are saying, it's 8 wins or bust. And that's getting out over your skis. Even like last night, I told this story off air earlier to Dennis. We were at a media event here at the ACC Kickoff, right? They feed us. They treat us well here at ACC
They do.
Kickoff.
They actually really do.
No, I'm not joking at all. It's just funny. So anyway, we're at this event and you're mingling and you're talking. And at some point, someone looks at me, group of media members, and says, so Carolina, is it a 5-win season? Is it a 6-win season? Is it 7? Is it more than that? And I kind of thought about it and I went 5, right? Because that's my prediction, right? Like 5. And slowly, one by one, around this circle I was standing in, all these other media members, and I won't tell you who they were like, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah. And my first thought was, well, why were you all afraid to say it till I did?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why now all of a sudden it's okay to say 5? All of us were thinking the same thing. You can't be afraid to say it because it's good for the team to set realistic expectations, right? If you sit down, at a bowling alley your first time and you're like, it's, 250, I'll settle for 240. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to leave frustrated. You're going to leave, I didn't even reach half my goal. Like, you have to be realistic with these types of things. And, with the first day of practice today, I don't think it's a surprise that Dan Morgan yesterday, as soon as a reporter said the word playoffs, he was like, whoa, not saying playoffs. Right. As soon as you start talking about expectations, he's like, whoa, no expectations. Like, he's understanding what they're dealing with. And, I don't think he can be realistic. I don't think he should be up there going like 5 wins.
I know.
But reeling back on some of the over the top stuff, I think is good for the program. It's good for the health of the program.
I think, again, the managing of the expectations, I think if you do go 5-6 wins, it's like, okay, that's kind of, again, what was expected. But I think what would not make this season a disappointment for Carolina is if they are consistently competitive, like week in, week out. Like, you see the improvements from Bryce Young and the offense as a whole and everybody. It's like things start to gel together. It's going to take time because, again, all these new personnel, new coaches on the offense, it's going to take some time for it to gel. But if they are consistently competitive week in, week out, and they look much more functional than they did as a football team last year, because there's different times last year. It's like Frank Reich doesn't even know when to properly call timeouts and things like that. Consistently competitive improvement, and you see the culture of that buy-in from everybody that Dave Canales preaches. If you see those things this season, step in the right direction, not a disappointment at all.
The only reason I put the win total on it is because of what I was talking about with proof of concept.
Sure.
I think if you get a couple wins, if you put together a couple like back-to-back wins, those types of things allow the coaches to say, like, see, I told you.
Yeah.
If you're competitive and you're still losing, I think it's tougher to get that buy-in. But let's not twist anything up too much. If Bryce Young looks great, I don't care if they go 0-17. If your defense is giving up a ton, but Bryce Young looks like a guy that, vaults himself into conversations with like C.J. Stroud and some of these other young quarterbacks that Jordan Love, some of these guys that everybody's very excited about, that is the ultimate prize. This season is about Bryce Young, and we shouldn't get it twisted.
I will agree that to an extent. It's a lot about his development. So much of it is on his shoulders, but I think a lot of it is, again, Dave Canales as the head coach, establishing the culture that he wants for the team and what Dan Morgan wants as well, because they're trying to figure out who the core guys are trying to build around, not just Bryce. Like, they have to figure out, like, okay, is A'Shawn Robinson, I know we signed him to 3 years. Can we keep him past that? All right, Deontay Johnson, does he fit the culture of our team? He might be really good, but he might not be the guy that fits into the locker room really well. You have to figure that out. So there are a lot of things they need to figure out offensively, or just as a team as a whole, more than just is Bryce good.
But I would if A'Shawn Robinson isn't a core guy, it's much easier to find an A'Shawn Robinson than it is to find any elite quarterback.
I'm not trying to downplay it, but I think it's more than just the one guy. Dave Canales is the coach of the Panthers, not just Bryce Young.
Yeah, but why was he brought in?
Well, obviously
because
to
he
help
was good
Bryce,
at rebuilding quarterbacks.
His title's head coach of the team, not offensive. Bryce Young.
Yeah,
he's more. He has to be more than that.
Yeah,
he has to be more than that.
I don't know if Sean McVay more than his relationship with Matt Stafford, is Matt LaFleur more than his relationship with Jordan Love. And those
the
are
culture
the best
that you want to set has to permeate across the entire team.
Yeah, I just think it starts with Bryce Young. And if Bryce Young isn't good, it doesn't matter if your defensive tackle's bought in. You need to have the quarterback.
You do, but you still need to figure out everyone else. Like, you still do. And actually, who's the core of your team?
And I think a lot of that, what we're talking about here is the same thing worded differently. Xavier Legette, he's practicing, by the way. That's good. Hamstring allowed him to practice. It's about availability, like I said. But deciding what his role is will benefit Bryce. And Deontay Johnson, is he one of your core guys? Heck, we've seen teams put up with jerks at wide receiver if the wide receiver is good enough. If he's helping out Bryce enough, you do find a way to keep him around. I think the Jets this year, who everyone's really excited about, I know you're in the Rodgers.
I'm already exhausted from the.
But I think there's a world where their defense is going to allow like 17 points per game. That's great for Aaron Rodgers, right? Then all of a sudden he doesn't have to be as good. If the Panthers defense wants to give up 17 points per game, I think Bryce is going to look mighty good because he can play within his playbook the entire time, right? He won't be behind and having to throw. He'll be able, every time he runs play action, the defense is going to have to bite because running plays will make sense on that down and distance. So it is all connected. I just think if Bryce shows that he's the dude, I'm going to put up with a lot of flaws elsewhere on that roster and still call it a success.
There's a ton on his plate this year. Tons on his plate. And he has to go and show it. Everything around him on paper improved. Because
Absolutely.
What we saw last year obviously sucked.
Only one way to go.
It stunk.
That is up. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to tell you about Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. They're the home of the no-cost loan. If you're like me, you have all those real estate apps. So when you're out of town, like we are now in Charlotte, let's see what the real estate is like in this area. Why? Just because I'm curious and I want to know what's going on. But if you are looking for a new house seriously, not like me who's just nosy, you're probably looking at interest rates and you might be a little daunted. Maybe rates are a little higher than you want them to be right now. That's what Gordon Miller and Miller Lending can help you out with. They can hook you up with a no closing cost loan. The rates are what the rates are, right? There's only so much a mortgage broker or mortgage lender can do. But what Miller Lending can do is prepare you to take advantage of if and when rates drop, right? A no closing cost loan, refinance as many times as you can, right? If rates drop a little bit, refinance. You're not taking money out of your pocket to do so. Do it again and again each time those rates fall. If you're interested, give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the starting five and more from ACC Kickoff here in Charlotte. Stick around.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw, Crosby off the edge, and he's got him back at the 23! Tua back to throw, deep down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it! Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's bow time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles sandwich combo time.
What are you doing? Eating caviar. Yuck. Get this. Supreme 7 scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have the best odds to win $400 with a $4 million top prize. So I'm learning to enjoy rich people stuff.
Okay, let me try. Gross. What's next?
Ballroom dancing.
I'll lead.
New Supreme 7s, a shot at supreme riches. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.18. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to PNC Arena this weekend. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Great Clips. Visit monsterjam.com today. This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers. He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Showers and storms are in the forecast. Most should come later tonight and early tomorrow morning, 75 the low. And then for Thursday, showers and storms are likely. There's the threat for some flooding. The high temperature around 80.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 504 points at 39,853. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are live from ACC Football Kickoff in Charlotte. ACC Football Kickoff coverage on 99.9 The Fan is driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford, and we thank them for their support. But right now it is time for the starting five, and as always, we start with number 5. We're going to start with ACC kickoff feelings in general, but I also, while we have you here, want to let you know a little bit of what we have in store for you tomorrow. ACC football kickoff coverage here on 99.9 The Fan will continue tomorrow. The teams that will be featured here at kickoff are Clemson, North Carolina, NC State, and Syracuse. We are going to speak to Kyle McCord, quarterback from Syracuse, who was the starter for Ohio State last year. Try to get a little insight into Noah Rogers, wide receiver transfer at NC State, who spent last year at Ohio State with Kyle McCord. LaQuint Allen, Syracuse running back, will also be joining us to give the insight into what's going on up there in upstate New York. Davin Vann from NC State, one of their defensive leaders, defensive linemen. Jordan Waters, NC State, one of their offensive leaders, running back, transfer from Duke. That's an interesting little dynamic. And as well as Dave Doran, the head coach from NC State. We'll talk with Cade Klubnik, the quarterback at Clemson, who's a popular pick around here to be one of the best teams in the league. Barrett Carter, who is one of the best defensive players in the league, also from Clemson. Mac Brown, head coach, UNC. Omarion Hampton, who's my pick to be just about all-world this year. Omarion Hampton from UNC. And that's what we have for you tomorrow.
It's a lot.
In addition to reactions from Panthers training camp, in addition to our own reactions from here at ACC Kickoff, tomorrow is going to be a really fun day. And today has been really fun, and it's not over yet. We'll be talking with DeVonte Gordon, redshirt senior offensive lineman from Wake Forest, later this hour. Dennis, we've had a full day here at ACC Kickoff.
It's been a lot.
Give us some of your observations. What have you heard?
It's been a lot. It's still a lot of questions from a lot of people, especially asking like current coaches, people that have been in the ACC for a while. And what are your thoughts on these changes in the league? Like, there's been a lot of that. Like, hey, what are your thoughts on Cal and Stanford and these other folks that are coming in? It's still been a heavy part of the conversation here is just how things are just different.
Yep.
Because we can see it on paper. We hear about the transaction and all that kind of stuff. Until you actually, again, tangibly see it, that's where it really hits you. It's like, oh wait, there's a Cal banner and a Stanford and an SMU banner and the mannequins up there with their uniforms on it. What is going on here?
To me, there's been three themes, and we can dive into this more as the show goes along. Three themes of the ACC Kickoff. One is exactly that. Yep. There's some new kids at school. And I'm thinking of Sunshine and Remember the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
When everyone's like peeking out the window at him, like, oh, he's from California, right?
Yeah.
He's from California.
Dreamboat.
So it's like everyone's looking at Cal and Stanford, and they're from California, right? Like they're just new, they're different, they're something unusual. The second theme is one that I've been talking about a ton, which is transfer quarterbacks and quarterback battles. It's how is within each team the quarterback situation going to be handled? Even ones where we know who's going to be the quarterback, I think there's a lot of questions around the effectiveness and or the situation they're going to be put in. Third one is what everybody mumbles under their breath about Florida State and Clemson. There's less about it on air, and I respect that. But the water cooler conversation, a lot of it is lawsuits. A lot of it is, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you think this rumor is actually true? And I guess at our hearts we're all like little gossipy. But those are the three things that routinely pop up. Obviously, if you're talking like we are a bunch today, if you're talking Duke, there's a lot of Manny Diaz conversation, right? There's a lot of what happened last year conversation. If you're talking Wake Forest, there's a lot about the quarterback shuffle they had last year. Like, there are smaller kind of subsections of themes, but the three main ones for me are the new teams in the conference, the quarterback situation, and then the Florida State and Clemson lawsuits that everybody wants to talk about, like, after looking around the room to see if they're being bugged, right? It's like, so what do you think is going to happen? Because it's just nobody knows, and it's so you never know who around here is involved, right? There's just a little bit of uncertainty in that respect.
A lot of change.
Yeah,
a lot of change for whether programs individually, the conference as a whole. It's just a lot of change this year, a lot of turnover.
And that goes back to what we said yesterday. And this might become a theme for me in college football. I tend to lock onto theories. You got to treat every year like it's its own thing. Like, this year and next year don't have to be connected. right? It used to be you could predict who was going to be good next year by looking at this year. I don't really know if it's the case anymore. You could be in a different conference. You could be in a different talent grouping because guys are leaving, guys are coming in the transfer portal. I think it's just best to look at each season individually and think, any change you leave on the table this year, it's just gone. You don't get to cash it in next season.
I look at Louisville was just a couple seasons ago. They were 6-7 under Scott Satterfield in 2022, and all of a sudden they're in the ACC championship game. And you're a 500 or a slightly below 500 team, then 2 years later, you're playing for a conference championship game with 10 wins.
And just as quickly, you can go the other way.
Oh,
right?
easily.
You can be a contender and everyone's excited about you, and then the next year, what the heck happened?
Well, Wake Forest a couple of years ago was in the ACC championship game.
11-3, they won the Gator Bowl.
Yeah,
they were returning darn near everyone the next year, and it didn't work.
2 years later, missing a bowl game.
So there's that's going to happen, I think, a lot more. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
Former Duke quarterback Daniel Jones cleared for all contact heading into training camp. That's big for, first of all, anyone that's ever had a serious injury.
Mm-hmm.
You're cleared is unbelievable. Just wording to hear. It's what you've been waiting for, especially, and knock on wood, right? My career's over. That doesn't mean I can't trip going downstairs. I hope I never blow out a knee, because I've seen some of the toughest people I know get pretty discouraged from those knee rehabs where you feel like you're working for weeks on an end and you don't get 2% more in range of motion or whatever you're looking for. So Daniel Jones being cleared for contact, good for Daniel, but also that just means one less excuse, right? Like Daniel Jones has to put up or shut up this year. Their bench, Drew Lock, is a guy who has at least shown flashes in the NFL. So there's, no one will ever say this. Quarterbacks love it when their backup stinks, right? No one's ever going to say that out loud, but you love it when your backup is some 5th-round rookie who's looked like jittery in practice during training camp, which you're like, that's job security. Daniel Jones at times looks jittery. It's kind of nature, right? He's at times on the sideline, eyes as wide as saucer plates. Drew Lock is the opposite. Drew Lock could be down 14 points, 2 interceptions thrown, and like if he's on the bench and young Jeezy comes on, he's rapping every word and dancing. Like he's somebody that is very, very comfortable and calm. So Daniel Jones has to play well, or else the Giants do kind of have options if they want to try to shake things up and find a spark. This is about as make or break of a season as I can remember for a quarterback for Daniel Jones. And, with it being ACC kickoff week, to frame it from a Duke perspective, it's good to have a starting quarterback in the NFL from your school.
It's also, you talk about the make or break. It's well documented that it's make or break because it's on Hard Knocks on HBO, the offseason. They interviewed all the top quarterbacks. They were heavily invested in. They even talked about we're going to trade up to number 3 or with New England. They explored options. They didn't settle on another one, but they looked.
Daniel Jones, and I haven't seen the entire most recent Hard Knocks, but I saw a clip. Daniel Jones has a legit beef with?
Who?
Their GM's son.
Oh, really?
The GM asked the GM's son, like, what do you think we should do? And the guy was like, the kid was like, Jaden Daniels. He's like, you got to go for the win, Dad. I'm like, I'm Daniel Jones. I'm like, come on, man.
It's like, see if I get you a Christmas gift.
Yeah. I was going to let you on the field. There was a bunch of father-son clips from behind the scenes. Matt LaFleur, the coach of the Packers, was walking into the facility. And you know how the Packers have all of the kids can ride their bikes with the players, and then the players hop on the bikes during training camp?
Oh, in Green Bay?
Yeah. So I guess Matt LaFleur's son was riding his bike and was trying to follow his dad into the facility, and security jumped in like, kid, you can't go in there, and stopped him. And you just heard, Dad. Matt LaFleur had to turn around and be like, all right, that one can come in.
He's with me.
Anyway, that was just a fun story to tell. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
ESPN.com is in 100% list-making mode.
Oh,
I guess they're taking July, and they're just July is the month of lists. And I always say it's dumb that they do this, but guess what else happens?
It's dumb.
I fall for it every gosh darn time.
That's how they get you.
top 25 NFL players since 2000. Part of their they did the top 100 athletes since 2000, and now they're doing a bunch of offshoot lists. They did top 25 athletes since 2000, and they did top 25 NFL players since 2000. NFL players is the list we're talking about. It just came out today, and I'm scrolling through it, and I see it, and I go, it's list making season. Of course, I click it. They did a top 25, and then the first 5 that didn't make the list. So it's really a top 30. Dennis, just for dramatic effect, I know you know the answer to this.
Yep.
How many Panthers do you think were on the list?
I thought of maybe 1, possibly 2. Maybe Julius Peppers would be on there. Maybe Luke Kuechly.
I thought Cam had an outside chance.
I thought Cam possibly as well.
There are no Panthers.
Well, that makes sense.
Panthers have made the Super Bowl twice since 2000.
That's true. They did.
And
no Steve Smith?
No Steve Smith. No Julius Peppers, who's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
No Cam Newton, who has the MVP and the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in NFL history. No Luke Kuechly, who I have to imagine the only knock they had on Kuechly is he didn't play long enough. He's probably 3 years away from being on this list.
Possibly.
But I think there's a legitimate gripe for Julius Peppers.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there's a legitimate gripe. I was actually listening to a podcast. You know you know some of what was said on the podcast with Aaron Rodgers, and he started.
I stopped listening after. I didn't. I listened. I read like one quote and I said, "Done."
He started recapping a play against the Bears like 10 years ago, and obviously quarterbacks have weird memories and they can remember a lot, and I get it, but part of the play, like he couldn't tell the play that happened against the Bears a billion years ago without pointing out where because Julius Peppers was on the Bears at the time, where Julius Peppers was in the defense and the check he made at the line to make sure he had a running back to help with Julius Peppers. And I can't emphasize this enough when I say Bears Julius Peppers was not Panthers Julius Peppers. So even at that point in his career, one of the best quarterbacks to ever live, years into the future, is having like flashbacks of, where's Peppers? How do I make sure he's got more than one blocker on him, right? He's got to get the tackle and a running back, and to the point where he can recap that. So those are the things I look for when it's like, how are you going to fill out lists like this, right? Like the Calvin Johnson is on the list, but he should be, because there's those clips where they have 2 defenders, like almost like they're mugging up the gunner on punt, but it's just an offensive play, and Calvin Johnson's just split out wide, and there's literally 2 guys like face guarding him. I'm going like, boom. The other team is showing you how good that guy is, right? So if someone else has 100 more receiving yards that year, that is what showed me that you're actually the better player. Julius Peppers, the way he's talked about by guys that have to play against him, that's all you need to know. If someone else had 5 more sacks in their career, if they had more votes for Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going like, yeah, maybe, but does Aaron Rodgers bring him up 15 years later when he's talking about plays, when he's not at the peak of his powers towards the end of his career? Because if he's not, this isn't really a conversation. No Panthers make the top 25. Surprise, surprise, Brady was number 1. As number 3, let's get to number 2. Can I go full old guy yelling at clouds?
No, why not?
There's a lot of holdouts in the NFL happening right now.
Yeah.
Some of them are from players that are due to make $20 million this year.
It's a lot of cash.
I don't think I could live with myself. And I know you never know until you're in someone's shoes how you would react in their situations.
It's really easy for us to say.
Like CeeDee Lamb is due to make, I think, 17.7 or 19.9, whatever it ends up being, the last year of his rookie deal, picked up on the option. And he's holding out for more money. And I get that you want more money. I get you should ask for more money. I get that you should have your agent playing absolute hardball with the Cowboys, because, Justin Jefferson got paid and this guy got paid and that guy got paid, and you think you're just as good as they are. I hear it. I think it would be mighty tough for me mentally if I were Trent Williams, say. Trent Williams is going to make $20 million this year. He has a contract for more next year and more the year after. It's just not guaranteed. And I just don't know if I'd be able to not show up. And again, maybe it's like, my grandfather's like words stuck in my brain. But if someone's paying me $20 million, I think I'm showing up for work. I think there's other ways you can make your point known that you want more money, but I think I'm showing up for work. Especially because right back in the day, you go back 30 years, holdout was one of the only ways you could like create conversation about you making more money.
Yeah. It's the only leverage you can do is withhold your services.
CeeDee Lamb calls up any of the biggest sports podcasts in the world or biggest sports radio shows or sports television shows and says, hey, can you get me 10 minutes? I want to talk about my contract situation. People are moving heaven and earth. They're like canceling the birth of their children. Hey, honey, hold it. I got to go do something.
Yeah, I got
because
10 minutes.
And yeah, exactly. And then once CD does that, everyone in the world is talking, and the pressure is put on the front office, and Jerry Jones has to answer all the questions about it. I just think there's other ways to get the point across that you want to get paid what you're worth. Heck, have your agent put out a statement. We'll talk about it for 20 minutes. Like it's you look at some of these. Jordan Love. How in the world is Jordan Love okay with sitting out? He played 8 good games last year.
Yeah.
And they gave him a contract that had guaranteed money for this year before last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they believed in him before he's not giving any of that back. There's no trust in like, hey, remember how you trusted me to be good at this and gave me guaranteed money for 2 more years before I had started? Well, now I'm not going to trust you to do me a solid and continue these negotiations unless I sit out these practices and force your hand. It's not even like I think CD or Jordan Love or Brandon Ayuk or Trent Williams or any of these guys sitting out aren't going to have good seasons.
Yeah.
They're really good players.
Okay.
Missing the first week of practice is going to do nothing for them. It's more just me being an old man yelling at clouds going, you signed a contract, you have a job, you show up, you do it, right? You can afford the $50,000 per day fines. Great. I'm proud of you. Yes, still, I'm going to need you to show up and work.
Show up. Be there. Be present.
I'd even hold in is better than hold out.
No, yeah, because at least you're there. They can't find you if you're there.
But I still think you're a quarterback. You should be throwing passes.
I think part of this also just, again, the operating in good faith.
Exactly.
Like, you have to have that good relationship. Now, if in the past, the things have been rocky and all that kind of stuff, and this is just kind of like the last nail in the coffin.
I would say that.
Then that's fine. But like you mentioned, Jordan Love,
seems like they've been doing each other a solid.
Exactly. It's like, hey, we guarantee you a bunch of money before you even started. And you had 8 good games. You finished the year strong. Was that a great moment, like a great stretch of games like we've seen some quarterbacks have?
The postseason round 1 game was beautiful.
Yeah. It's like we also saw Tim Tebow led Denver Broncos win football games. But still, it's like, but my point is this. It's that, okay, you had like one good stretch. You haven't fully proven yourself yet. You really haven't.
Yeah, it's not proving yourself fully.
You haven't fully proven yourself yet that you could do this year in, year out, year in, year out.
There's some reports he's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history.
Gross.
I don't think it'll be for that much, but I think he'll be over $45 million a year.
Oh, easily.
Whenever this is said and done. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Panthers open training camp practices today. They were out there. They ran actually more 11 on 11 than I would expect on day 1.
Yeah, like only in helmets. Yep. No shoulder pads, no leg pads, stuff like that. Just helmets with the funny padding on them.
Which J.C. Horn was not a fan of because he said they didn't look good.
Yeah, that's fair. Respect.
Which is funny. A few things about training camp. Later in training camp, we'll learn more. Today, I refuse to take too much into account. I actually saw one social media account, a Twitter, but it was like a legit Panthers. I won't say what it was. Somebody that covers the Panthers complimented the offense on a great run by Miles Sanders. because in 11-on-11 it was a handoff. There was a hole. He ran through it, ran up the sideline, and all I could think was that is a running play without pads. Let's not compliment anybody, right? It's a running play for a physical sport with blocking and tackling, and there were no shoulder pads on anybody.
There's no physicality.
Let's not get too far ahead with our praise for plays like that. Do I like to see Miles Sanders running full speed without being injured? Yes. And that brings me back to what the first day of training camp, the first week of training camp is. It is health and availability. These guys are coming back off of a time off, and as anybody knows, and as I will tell you over and over and over again, because I've experienced it over and over and over again, if you don't run for a while and then you try to go full speed right away, hamstrings. I've experienced a whole bunch. Even if you don't go full speed, even if you're a washed-up old athlete and you go 50%, you might pop a hammy. But we're seeing Condre Miller down there with the New Orleans Saints, hamstring. Ricky Pearsall out there with the Niners, hamstring. Soft tissue issues the first week of camp are brutal. So every day you're going to hear me kind of check in on that. The Panthers, are you healthy? Are you available? Is Xavier Legette still practicing? Is everybody still upright? What about the veterans? Are the Davion Clowneys ready to go? And are they getting their vets rest days? Because I think those are the most important things early on. As it moves on, we can learn more about who's taking the reps with the ones, right? What's the wide receiver rotation when Bryce Young is up there on 7-on-7? That's also something you can learn from. Here's how I'm going to put this. I'm more interested in choices in training camp than I am in like results. Okay. I want to see who the coaches choose to have running with the ones, right? I want to know, is Xavier Legette trusted to be the number one X? I want to know, is Adam Thielen running with the ones? I want to know those types of things, because those are choices by coaches, right? That's a hierarchy. We're setting something in play. I don't need to hear Deontay Johnson had 3 catches in 7-on-7, because who knows what led to that, right? Who knows if, the defense made a mistake? Who knows if, Bryce Young should have thrown it somewhere else, but is locking in on Deontay Johnson? Maybe Deontay Johnson having 5 catches in a 7-on-7 period is bad, because that means Bryce Young isn't getting through his reads.
Well, it might be bad on the defense. Like, this guy's always open. That might be it too. It's like first read, hey, he's open, hit him. Hey,
in their defense, they're used to guarding Mingo in practice.
Well,
I'm kidding.
No, you're not wrong.
I should have said DJ Chark, because he's not a Panther anymore. I should have said DJ Chark. There's other options there I could have made that joke about. But the big news, Panthers open training camp today. Practice happened. Bryce Young was out there. People were paying attention. And we can talk about football. Yesterday, we had everyone made a meal on social media about Bryce Young walking into the training camp, and he looked like a 7th grader. he had like a JanSport backpack on,
like a red JanSport backpack,
and just kind of walked in like he had trying to get to social studies.
Jordan 4s that looked a little too big, the whole deal.
Everyone talks about that forever. I'm excited today that if you're gonna make jokes at Bryce Young's expense, at least they're going to be about the football, right?
Yeah.
At least they're going to be about something going on a football field, even if it is a practice.
Oh, Bryce Young's small. Wow. Oh, did you just now realize that?
I do get frustrated when people are surprised by it.
Yeah.
The last year was the worst. It was right about this time, actually.
Yeah.
It was the first day in pads. There was a picture that went viral of the offensive line standing up, and he was standing behind him. And everybody was like, oh, my gosh, look how small he looks. As if we didn't just spend the 3 previous months and combine and draft everything.
Oh, all of it.
The only thing we talked about with Bryce Young was his size.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only thing we knew he was good at going through progressions. We saw it at Alabama. We knew he had the arm strength. We saw it at Alabama. We knew he was a leader. Everybody had told us. The only thing we talked about was his size. And then the first time they saw him standing next to tall offensive linemen, everyone went, oh my gosh, he's small.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah.
What did you think? Goodness gracious. By the way, we're live at ACC Kickoff here in ACC Football Kickoff here in Charlotte, and we are going to continue to be through tomorrow's show. We have a great lineup of interviews for you tomorrow, and we're not done with interviews today. We're going to take a break here, but when we come back, DeVonte Gordon, redshirt senior offensive lineman from Wake Forest. You'll hear from him things like why is he the only offensive lineman that is like making his way around here at ACC Kickoff, or at least it seems that way. And 6 years in Winston-Salem. He's a sixth-year senior. How has Dave Clawson changed over that period of time? We ask those questions coming up next.
The college football season is here, and 99.9 The Fan will be live from Charlotte for ACC Football Kickoff. Touchdown, Carolina! Adam, Tim, and the crew will huddle up with your favorite players and coaches from Carolina, Duke, and State.
Concepcion's got it. Touchdown, Wolfpack.
Join us for ACC Football Kickoff live from Charlotte on 99.9 The Fan.
Duke thumps the Tigers.
Driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Sanford. Visit WilkinsonCars.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's so much to love about North Carolina, but we all want more. More boundless views, more pristine scenery, more wildlife, more adventures, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Properly disposing of waste is never a waste of time. It leads to a more enjoyable environment for much longer. So, when traveling in North Carolina, make it your nature to trash your trash. Leave it more beautiful than when you found it. And we will all have more reasons to love NC. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina. And part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, in cooperation with this station.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have one more interview for you today. We have, 12 for you tomorrow, something like that. But one more for you today from ACC Football Kickoff. It is a sixth-year offensive lineman, DeVonte Gordon from Wake Forest. Before we air that conversation, this one was recorded earlier today. There's a lot of sixth-year players here.
This is really the last time we're going to start seeing it. I think it's the last year we're going to see these 6-year guys.
I hope so. And not to say who am I to say somebody should cut their dream short or whatever. I'm not holding it against the individual players. I just think college football is kind of a 5 years to play for sport, and we're getting 6 of them for a lot of these guys.
So a lot of these guys we talked to, like Gordon, Tristan Sinclair, the linebacker we talked to yesterday from Stanford. Those guys got to college in 2019, took their redshirt year. Then they had the COVID year of 2020. Then it's 2021, 22, 2023, now 2024. So it's like, hey, basically almost kind of got like 2 free-ish seasons to an extent.
Exactly. And the your red shirt now, you can play 4 games. So you can play 4 games, get a red shirt, play 7, 8, 9 games, get a COVID year, then play 4 years of 12-plus games if you're making bowl games. So there's some real experience walking around the ACC right now. And with the transfer portal, some of these guys started elsewhere, play 3 years, maybe at a group of 5 level, and then transfer to a power conference, play another 2 or 3 years there. So there's a lot of experience walking around ACC kickoff weekend, kickoff week, I should say, this week. And DeVonte Gordon's one of them. And we talk about kind of being in college that long and growing with your coach during this conversation. So here's DeVonte Gordon, 6th-year offensive lineman for Wake Forest from earlier today. Let's just start with this. I'm happy to see one of the big guys.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been talking to like defensive backs and quarterbacks this entire week. What does it mean about Wake Forest that they brought the big fella?
Yeah, I guess it starts up front. We've got a very veteran offensive line group now. We got 2 offensive line captains, and me and Luke Pettibone, a guy that I love playing with. He really sets the tone for what our offensive line wants to be. And so, yeah, like I said, it starts up front. So that's what it means today.
That means you guys are going to be running the ball a ton, right?
There we go.
That's what offensive line wants, right? As much as pass blocking, helps, right? The run blocking is where you get your yayas off.
Right, yeah, for sure.
DeVonte Gordon, redshirt senior offensive lineman, Wake Forest, sitting with us here at ACC Kickoff. I was on your Instagram, and I looked back. It's been 33 weeks since you put out that 1 more year post.
Yeah.
Tough decision. What went into coming back for 6 years of college football, which is something not many people get to say?
Yeah, I think there was a lot that went into it. Starting with just the environment of Wake Forest. I've loved being here. Winston-Salem's treated me great. Before I was playing, they treated me great, and now that I am playing a lot of meaningful reps, they still treat me great. I've loved it here. Roll Quad helped make that decision really easy. Knowing that we have a really good defensive line that I'll get to go up against also made it easy. I get to work out against JD every day, who's going to be all-conference defensive end again this year. Kevin Pointer, who's going to be all-conference defensive tackle, knowing that I'll be going up against them to help me continue to get better. And then lastly, just knowing this coaching staff and, their loyalty. It's rare that you can say that at this point, I've been at the school for 6 years. This will be my 6th year. It's rare that you can say that a coaching staff has been somewhere that long. And they were there much longer before I was, and I'm sure they'll be there much longer after I leave. So I was confident knowing that because they've shown loyalty to me, I can show loyalty to them.
Let's dive into that further, right? Because you're right. Not many. I mean, in college football nowadays, like 3 years is a long time for a coaching staff before it changes. How is Dave Clawson, the head man? Have you noticed anything different about him, maybe from like 2019 Dave Clawson to 2024 Dave Clawson?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that Coach Clawson over the time, he's grown a little bit in the same way that anybody grows. As I'm not the same person that I was when I came into the school. I think as a coach, he's the same guy. We obviously were going through a different experience last year than we have in all of my other years there, in that we didn't win as many games as we were used to. And so I think he's turned it up a little bit, but that's something that we needed. That was something that was good for the team, and I think we're going to see the results of that coming soon at the end of the month.
What does turn it up a little bit mean?
This has been the hardest offseason by far. But
really?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
What like, are we talking like mornings, like the workouts, like or the intensity? Give me some details.
Yeah, I think the workouts have been great. The workouts have been phenomenal. The intensity has definitely been amped up a little bit. And then I think the good thing about that is, that trickles down throughout the program. I think last year we had a lot of guys that weren't ready to play. That would be good players this year, but, they were kind of thrown into the fire as young guys. I think that they've been able to feel that same intensity, and it put more of a sense of urgency in them to get ready to play. And we have some young guys that just got here, like some freshmen that we saw grow through in the spring only because that intensity was so high, they felt like, man, I better get ready.
DeVonte Gordon, redshirt senior offensive lineman for Wake Forest. Speak about last year, maybe not living up to expectations. Yeah. You had the quarterback shuffle behind you a little bit, right? Every time you looked over your shoulder, I'm sure it felt like a different guy. Going from the ultimate consistency with Sam Hartman to that, how difficult was that for the rest of the offense?
Yeah, for sure. I think not only the quarterback, but we had a lot of injuries on the offensive line, and we had a lot of guys not, do up to par jobs at all 11 spots. So I think that was kind of stressful. Like I was saying, it's not something that we were used to at all. But it's something that we're looking forward to correcting this year. I think a lot of people are counting us out, either because of last year or Wake Forest is kind of counted out every year. But but it's a part of going to the school, and we're looking forward to surprising everybody again.
Do you talk about that in the locker room? Because you're right. We're here at ACC Kickoff. The people we talk to, the people with the big studios up top, they're the Clemsons, the Florida States, some of the high-profile transfers are getting so much of the hype. Do you feel like you're under the radar a bit?
Yeah, but like I was saying, I think that's a part of going to the school. I think, even in 21 when we went to the ACC championship, or 22 when we had everybody back from the ACC championship team, I feel like we were overlooked then as well. And so it's a part of going to the school. It's something that we embrace, and so when we're good, we're not surprised at all. Everybody's surprised, but we're never surprised.
Let's talk about that 11-win season. What was that, 2021? Is that what you mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
What can you take from that, right? As one of the veterans, you mentioned there's freshmen, there's guys that maybe last year were thrown into the fire. Yeah. What lessons are you passing along from a successful season like that, where you win the Gator Bowl and have so much success?
Yeah, for sure. I think a very big part of that was how old we were that year. We had a lot of guys who had played meaningful reps, and that's something that's big this year. We have 17 starters back, and so I'm really excited to see, what exactly they can do. We have a lot of guys that now feel like know what it feels like to lose. And so, we can only use that as fuel. Being on that team, I think one of the most important things was that everybody was playing for each other, and that's something that we've been very focused on this offseason, been spending a lot of time with teammates, doing different player-led events. Like we had a bowling tournament, we had a wiffle ball tournament, just hanging out. We've been on the grill a lot, whenever we're not working out and things like that. And so that's something that's going to be really big for us.
So you said a bowling tournament. What other tournament?
Wiffle ball tournament.
Wiffle ball tournament and on the grill. All right, give me one teammate, best bowler, one teammate, best wiffle ball, one teammate, the only person you're trusting on the grill.
Okay. Best bowler, Nick Regano.
Okay.
Best wiffle ball player might be Hank Bachmeier.
New guy.
Yeah.
All right.
And then on the grill for me, for sure.
You?
Yeah.
All right. That's how offensive line answer. That's why I love talking with offensive linemen. You're name dropping everyone, right? Because I'm sure you know what it's like to be referenced as, the O-line played well, but you're name dropping. And then, of course, the grill. That's why you need the offensive line.
There we go.
Hank Bachmeier, you bring him up.
Yeah.
What does he bring to the quarterback position? A transfer, a guy that comes in with a lot of experience, but is expected to kind of give stability to that room.
Yeah, I think you've said it. He brings experience. And he sets a tone of competitiveness in that room, and I'm excited for both of those guys, Hank Bachmeier and Michael Kern, whichever one wins the job. I know they'll get it done. But I think he
see that name dropping. This is well played. The offensive line knows how to do it. Has he tried to paint the field a funny color coming from Boise State?
I think with the scheme that we run, you got to kind of fit into the scheme that we run in the.
Oh no, I'm talking about the actual field, right? Because he was playing on the blue field. I didn't know if you were going. Is he?
Yeah.
We're gonna have black turf.
Yeah, he might be speaking some gold out there. I don't know.
But no, now I want to hear the answer that you started, right?
Yeah.
Him fitting in. How is he fitting into the offense?
Yeah, he's fitting in a great, tremendous way. I think especially with the tools that he has. He has Taylor Moreno, he has Donavan Green. Who are back. I think they've combined for like 3,700 yards or something. Ton of experience there.
You know exactly what that number is. My guy is prepared. He said, I think. I like it.
But no, yeah, Hank's been a great addition to the team. He's a great guy to be around. We love him off the field. And, he had a really good spring, and we're excited to see what he can do this camp.
DeVonte, we appreciate you for stopping by,
thanks for having me.
Good luck this season.
Thank you so much. This is great.
Once again, that was DeVonte Gordon, redshirt senior offensive lineman, 6th year for Wake Forest, giving us a little insight into the quarterback competition and everything else going on out there in Winston-Salem. As somebody that's seen the highs and the lows, right? We talked about Wake Forest having that magical 2021 season and then missing a bowl game last year. He's been there as a main key component for all of it, trying to get back to the mountaintop.
I want to see that Wake Forest team that was beating Florida State consistently, year in and year out.
Well, the thing is, even when Wake Forest wasn't having like a great season, they still found a way to beat Florida State a few times.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, right, and whoever ends up being the quarterback, whether it's Kern or Bachmeier, it was funny. We were talking with Manny Diaz, and he was like, you think of the best Duke teams, they kind of start with the quarterback. Wake Forest, a lot of times you look back at some of the better teams they had. Riley Skinner pops to mind. Obviously, Sam Hartman pops to mind. Jamie Newman there for a hot second. Like they've had some pretty good ones come through. So a lot resting on the shoulders of whoever it is, Bachmeier or Kern, getting the nod from Coach Clawson. We're gonna take a break real quick. When we come back, we wrap up day number 2 for us, day number 3 overall of the ACC football kickoff here in Charlotte. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If all things were equal, if everybody was healthy, and I had one quarterback to pick outside of Mahomes to win me a Super Bowl, I would pick Joe Burrow.
In my opinion, the guy that should be the second best quarterback in the league is Trevor Lawrence. The guys that could be are Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen. The one that I think is what's going to happen here this year is Herbert.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Golden studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list.
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're fast.
Good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We now have unlimited data that never slows you down. Covered by the Verizon 5G network. And for less than $30 a month, we make your phone your ride or die. Switch now and pick a free 5G phone with qualified plan purchase. And your 4th line at no additional cost. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry. In the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
here to wrap up our second day at ACC Football Kickoff, third day overall. And who better to help us do that than the voice of the ACC, Wes Durham. Wes.
Hey, Tim.
Happy to have you.
Thanks. The bar is closing here in a few minutes. My God, you guys are like,
they're going to kick us out.
They're getting ready to. Sinatra's going to take the stage and sing a song the way this show's going for you guys. Huh?
I'll take it. I mean, I've had nights at the bar end worse than Sinatra.
That's it.
I want to get your thoughts on a few of the teams that spoke today.
Okay.
Starting with Duke, Manny Diaz, not his first time at ACC Kickoff as a head coach, but his first time as Duke's head coach.
Right.
They brought 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're not the only one who brought 2 quarterbacks.
We're ACC's branding themselves as the conference of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get it with quantity. Like we have more quarterbacks than everybody else, so we're bringing 2.
Well, SMU brought 2.
Yep.
Cal brought Mendoza and Rogers.
Yep, Cal brought 2.
Carolina's bringing 2. Thankfully, NC State's only bringing 1, right? Look, I think there's competition being played out here, and coaches – look, Malik Murphy, we think will win the Duke job. What I saw when we did the spring game on ACC Network, I mean, Grayson Loftus, I think, is a gutty kid. I mean, what he did in the fill-in for Raleigh Leonard last year, and I had the Carolina game in Chapel Hill, and my gosh, I mean, it was just crazy how good he was. So I'm going to be interested to see kind of how the Malik Murphy-Grayson Loftus thing works out, because I think there's – with Jonathan Brewer coming in as the offensive coordinator, I think there's some packages where you're going to see Loftus.
Okay.
Maybe red zone stuff, that kind of thing. But Murphy's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, come on. I mean, it comes out of his hand. Lucky it doesn't bore a hole in a wall.
He
right?
can spin it. That's what we say, right?
He can spin it, and it whistles. I mean, he throws it like, you know how it makes that sound?
Yep.
He's that guy. And you know this, very few guys can make it whistle, right? And he does. So I think that quarterback situation, Preston Stone and Kelly Jennings at SMU is fascinating, because Stone got hurt late in the year. Jennings won the American championship, but then couldn't pull it in the bowl game. I don't know, opt-outs. That part of postseason play is frustrating for me right now in college football.
You're not alone in that one.
The Carolina situation, I was there when it was Max Johnson and Connor Harrell, and then Jacoby Criswell transferred back. I'll be very interested to hear what Mac Brown has to say tomorrow. And I'm going to be on set with Packer and Justin Walters when Mac Brown visits. So we'll see. But, yeah, look, the conference of quarterbacks has kind of been a thing here for a few years. I tell you this, I might be the conference of running backs.
I mean, Omarion Hampton was my pick to be the offensive everything in the ACC, so we're big on him. Bring in Jaden Ott from Cal.
That kid is amazing.
There's
Phil Moffa at Clemson.
Phil Moffa, who's I got a lot of
You just mentioned
excited.
Jordan Waters.
Yep.
I think he's going to have a big year. I'm really interested to see how Louisville elects to run the ball. I mean, because last year they were combination, Jawar Jordan, Isaac Garendo.
Yep. Speed and speed.
Yeah, now they got Chaney, the Miami transfer there. So it's really going to get weird.
And you know, when there's an offensive line coach as the head coach at Georgia Tech, they'll only run it about 900 times.
Well, and Jamal Haynes, to me, the converted wide receiver, is really interesting because he was a former wide receiver. They moved into running back. He found a groove last year. Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech has done a great job with what they do offensively. He and Chris Winkie and Jeep Wade, the offensive line coach, who some folks in your area may remember from Appalachian. I'm of the belief that if Georgia Tech wasn't playing the 27 Yankees and the 85 Bears, they would be a competitive team in that front group. Because I think they're going to be better on defense. They got a couple of guys in the portal that I think they can help. But, damn, the schedule is just unbelievable again. So, but let's take the quarterbacks and the running backs. And now all of a sudden you're starting to see why I think a lot of people – I think we're going to have – when the preseason poll comes out, I think we're going to have more teams get a first-place vote than we've had in a while.
Well, we're talking with Wes Durham, by the way, voice of the ACC. I think part of that is because of the uncertainty at the quarterback position. I don't know if there's anybody that you are all in on. Like I would bet my car, bet my house that this guy's going to be a stud.
Right.
But there's a ton that I look at and go, they might be a stud.
Yeah.
Even like the transfers coming in, Cam Ward, Grayson McCall, they've proven they're good college quarterbacks.
Stay healthy. They're Tyler Shuck at Louisville.
Yep.
Very good quarterback. Got to stay healthy.
And do they fit with the system? How do the new guys
Sure.
embrace them? Like there's always that kind of new. There's a lot of good. Like I get the conference of quarterbacks, 13 guys with 20 passing touchdowns and 3,500 career yards. Like I get it. But I'm looking around going, I think a big part of this is going to be figuring out which 2 or 3 of them have that it thing that we look for.
Yeah, and the benefit, like NC State knows, sometimes you script something out, and then when it happens, it maybe doesn't go as well as you think it would.
Like all of last season.
Yeah, and then somehow or another you catch whatever that momentum is, and you have a great leader, an exemplary leader in Brennan Armstrong, regardless of whether he was playing or not.
Agreed.
And now you're talking about McCall, who's won a lot of games, put up a lot of numbers, and, oh, by the way, Robert Anaya had a year to kind of whiteboard it. And he knows what Concepcion can do with Jordan Waters, and I think Tony Gibson could line up 11 pepper shakers for all I know and make them stop people. So all that being said, to my point about the first-place votes, Florida State, Clemson, yes. NC State's going to get some first-place votes. I think Miami's going to get some first-place votes. I think Louisville might get some first-place votes. Virginia Tech might get some first-place votes. I mean, Brent Pry was – hedging but compelling here. Kyron Drone spoke with confidence. I happen to think they're going to be pretty good on defense with Dorian Strong. So let's see. But I do believe this league, if they hold their water in the early going of the year, Miami wins at Florida, Clemson, Georgia's close, Carolina wins at Minnesota. Tennessee and NC State goes the Wolfpack's way here in Charlotte in week 2. I think the league can – and everybody says, well, you're just fronting the league. Yeah, I am. But
good.
The idea is that's where this could go, and I think nationally could really help them.
I know you've been a part of this conversation. I've heard other people mention your name. But, there's talk of, and there has been talk of, the ACC needs their Paul Feinbaum.
Sure, right.
They need their face to go out there and – what you just said, right? Sure, maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer, but you're darn right I'm being a little bit of a homer.
Yeah, I mean, look, our job it's the Atlantic Coast Conference Television Network. I think we're fair. I think we're balanced. I think we're honest. We refrain from over-the-top, hyperbole, I think. I think I've always tried to be that way. I think I've also tried to point out, hey, look, when somebody says something nationally that doesn't fit what's actually happening in the league, I call them out. And I think sometimes that people oversell their league, and I'll say this. 2 weeks ago on Get Up and A Block on Monday, they had Paul Feinbaum, Heather Dinich from Dallas, and they were telling me 5 teams are going to the college football playoff in the SEC. Maybe, but I'm not going to salt that out there just yet. I think there'll be 3 teams from this league potentially, maybe 4. It comes down to zeros and ones, Tim. You're gonna spend all fall breaking apart games on Monday. What I used to call referendum Monday back in the day.
Overreaction Monday.
Yeah, either way. But like you and Jessica, here's the discussion we have to get to. We have to find a path to get to November where you've got a 0 and a couple of 1s and maybe a 2. If you've got 4 teams, 1 undefeated, 2 with 1 loss, and 1 with 2 losses, you're in the mix. And then you're going to play impactful games down the stretch in November. And it's funny because I've been blessed to do the NFL for a long time, 20 years now on radio, 21 this fall. The NFL is built for back-end division games in the last 6 weeks of the regular season. And that's what college football.
And 2-minute warning makes the end of the game more exciting, and college is picking that up.
Oh, my God. I mean, that's why I can't wait to get started because I'm really fascinated how many more teams are welcomed into the neighborhood with the expanded playoff to 12 teams.
And that's going to change everything, right? It's the double elimination tournament that was the regular season. It's not necessarily the case anymore,
right?
Which just keeps more teams alive later on, and it's going to increase all of the excitement.
Yeah, think about the 2 teams. Think about Louisville last year. They lost their last regular season game. They lost the ACC championship. If they beat Kentucky at home and play Florida State competitively, they're probably in the college football playoff and in the expanded playoff.
And then next year at ACC Kickoff, we'll have the banner that says college football playoff appearance right up there.
That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? If they ended up with more than the SEC in the college football playoff, that would be comedy.
From your lips to the football gods'
there you
ears.
go. Yeah.
That's Wes Durham helping us break down the second day for us, third day overall of the ACC Football Kickoff. We have one more day tomorrow where we'll be hearing from members of Clemson, North Carolina, NC State, and Syracuse. And we are expecting the Omarion Hamptons, the Mac Browns, Dave Doran, Davin Vann. So a lot of the biggest names from the Triangle will be right here on 99.9 The Fan tomorrow. Overdrive is coming up next with some of our earlier content, so enjoy that. Until then, until tomorrow, everybody, have a great night, and go ACC.
Hi, this is Renee